You're
Hello?
charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy
They
there.
got the wrong guy. The dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their courtroom.
The fireworks are not done.
Now we're doing commentary on the case. Dati mihi Anglican Maurice Verbus Latino.
Is that correct?
I didn't ask you to interrupt me.
Literally not true.
Oh, for crumb's sake.
You will bring the jury.
All right, good morning. I'm sorry, jokes on that one. Good morning. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. Great to have you here this morning. Happy Tuesday to you. We are 2 days deep into this work week, and if I look just a little bit tired, it's because we had a late night, and also because my camera's blurry. But I fixed the camera part. We had a late night last night, and if you missed it, a verdict came in. After many false starts and delays. There's a verdict. You can go watch it there, or we're going to jump to another court today. It's probably going to get spoiled here in chat. Just if you don't want to see, don't look. There's, yeah, so there you go. Very worthwhile rewatching that, and incredible. All right. Let's see. We are back. Ready to go down to Florida today for a little 2-day, a lighter case, something quite not as heavy. Nobody died in this case, which is great. Let's have more of those. And I'm good with the good murder case, but sometimes it's great to have somebody not die. So let's we're gonna jump there in just a minute. Then we're gonna be going down to the 14th Circuit with Judge Brantley Clark, who is right now actually hearing a pretrial motion for the case on a motion to exclude an expert. So he's literally, as we speak.
I think you said just a moment ago that.
Yeah, he's right there. The case is ready to begin. The jury was seated yesterday. It is a jury trial, and we're going to be jumping down for all of that. That'll be just a quick one, probably 2 days, and then we might jump to another trial with a little catch up. And Dennis, thanks for the reminder. I do have to change that last video till we have a verdict. It's hard to hear me. Have you turned up the audio? Test 1, 2. Check. Test 1, 2. I'm showing -2. Is that? I boosted it 5%. Is that enough? Oh, I have to gift the internet to a ginger snaps out of it, and probably turn on chat messages on screen. A ginger snaps out of it. Congratulations, you were first in chat because of your promptness and punctuality. We're going to punish you and give you the internet. Yes, it is yours to maintain and care for. Unfortunately, you can't sell it during your brief ownership stint, which begins right now and continues until we go live again. Everything IP-related worldwide is your responsibility. Whew. I'm glad somebody gives away the internet every day, because if there wasn't people to take care of it, it would be terrible. It'd be terrible. All right, buffer. We have some birthdays to celebrate, and then we'll jump down to court. And I do need to crank the audio down just a notch or two. See, I don't need Zoom open anymore. Quit Zoom. Let's see, go there. Wait for it. Bum. Okay, audio on cam 6. We're going to cut its volume by half. There we go. And remove our filters. Undo the equalizer. And remove the limiters. Okay, now we're ready to go. There we go. Limiters are gone. All right, now all the knobs have been reset to 0. We'll adjust as needed as we go forward. But let's see. Let me listen. I think they're just waiting for the jury right now. People are walking around. So what we're going to do is we're going to hurry and sing happy birthday to those people who are celebrating today. And those include Joe, Kelsey, Crystal H, Marianne, and Sherry Alicia. 6350. We're going to sing happy birthday. And by we, I mean all of us. So wherever you are, if it's legal and you're able, stand up, take a deep breath, shoulders back, project your voice to the back of the room, blend your voice with your neighbor, and warm up with me if you will. La 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 la. We're ready. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joe, Kelsey, Crystal H, Marianne, and Sherry Alicia. Happy birthday to you. Sherry Alicia, I stumbled on your name, but you were included in there. We got everybody. So Joe, Kelsey, Crystal H, Marianne, and Sherry Alicia. I want to give you a Shelly in there. Happy birthday. I realize there are many wonderful days, but today is your special day, and there are a million places you could have been and a million people you could have celebrated with, but you chose to be right here with us. The privilege, pleasure, the honor, the joy, well, that is ours. Hopefully we can turn that back to you, make your day just a little more special. Or begin by helping yourself to free pancakes at Denny's, IHOP, Village Inn, Waffle House, McDonald's, Tammy Dunlap's House, Andy's Grill, Bob Evans, and Cracker Barrel. Woo! Happy birthday. And now the dancers can do their thing as we just getting warmed up. I'm not sure what sort of mood Judge Clark is in, because in the pretrial hearing, they asked to do a little hearing. He says, just abbreviate it, make it short, just cut right to the important parts, don't do any of the formalities. So maybe he's in a bad mood. But happy birthday one and all.
Type of rifle, and so long as all the witnesses and witnesses do not refer, and that would include the Alex witnesses, would not refer to the AR-15 in any way, shape, or form. That would be the week.
Mr. Balk, anything?
No.
All right, I'll grant the motion in limine with that stipulation as far as the statement of the rifle in the I guess Mr. Owens' statement, and the picture has the AR-15 in the picture.
Okay, so
yesterday I mentioned about providing the interviews that were edited with the group issues taken out. I've spoken with both defense counsel. They had an opportunity to review those videos. I don't think there's any objections to how I've edited them.
last minute motion in limine here.
To vote counsel, I believe there's no other objections to the evidence I plan on admitting. So at this time, I would like to move State's Exhibits 1.
Okay, while they do this last minute stuff, drum solo for the big finish. There we go. That was quick. The last minute motion in limine prohibits the witnesses from mentioning the AR-15 or from showing the picture of the AR-15. So apparently there's an AR-15 in this case, which is commonly referred to as commonly used. It's a name that's commonly used for sort of like all assault rifles, even though it's a specific model and even make of an assault rifle. It is a sporting rifle. It is a military style sporting rifle, typically semi-automatic, and it fires like, I don't know, a 223 or a NATO round or something that can be chambered a little bit differently. But it's a black gun that's made to be able to be adapted, have different stocks, different foregrips, different sights.
Okay, States Exhibits 1 through 35 will be accepted evidence, and Mr. Southern, you'll certainly be able to publish whenever you're the time. I see, Mr. Ballack, do you wish to have your client's right to remain silent in the preliminary instructions?
Sure, but it'll probably be a moot point.
It doesn't matter, as long as you want to. Ms. Bennett, I guess any objection to having it in there? The preliminary instruction about the defendant's right to remain silent.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Because we would like to have that in there.
It sounds like
I may have just one moment to step outside. There was one witness that I didn't get a chance to talk to about the motion in limine that Ms. Bennett filed yesterday. If I could just.
Absolutely. And we haven't brought the jurors up yet.
And we probably need to invoke the rule, I would guess, too.
Yeah, the rule will be invoked. Any witnesses in here?
There are two. There was three. I believe Deputy Finney, Jada Hall. Mr. Hughes wasn't here, but he stepped out. So.
Have you already spoken to your witnesses about the rule?
Everyone except Ms. Hall and Mr. Hughes, Mr. Owens' family, but I will speak with them.
If you witnesses raise your hand? Right. All right. you're going to leave the courtroom. You cannot be in the courtroom during the testimony of other witnesses. You cannot talk about your testimony with the other witnesses or what their testimony might be. It's perfectly permissible to speak with any of the attorneys about what you might testify to. Okay? With that being said, I'm going to ask you to leave the courtroom. Mr. Sullivan will tell you where to
go,
to remain
how to
until
get
you're
there.
called as a witness. Does the defense have any witnesses in? Mr. Ballard? Ms. Bennett?
Defense has 2 lawyers.
People that already leave it.
Okay, very good.
Defense has 2 lawyers because there are 2 different defendants. So 2 being tried at once. They share similar but not identical charges. Judge Brantley Clark, we've watched him before. He typically handles a lot of, handles a lot of drug cases, a ton. And we have seen some pretty interesting trials, including pro se defendants with jury trials who win their case. And I think it even made the judge mad that the guy won. I mean, he was found with a bag of cocaine in his pocket. Not a baggie, a bag. It seemed to be a lot, if I remember correctly. And he won his case. He was found not guilty. And we've seen some crazy stuff out of this courtroom. The judge is efficient in his use of time.
Now I'm trying to have court. Don't raise your voice.
Yeah. And he has a lot of years of experience. The burn pit trial is what I have my eyes on.
We'll wait and do that. We'll do that before we bring the jurors in.
We'd have to do some catch up. It's going to be a 2-week trial. I'm not ready to go jump to it today.
I don't think so. Probably won't introduce them until I see it's happening.
All right, so you want to go ahead and add the jurors, and then we just bring in some locks in.
Yeah, one more. Yeah, put it on the brown.
Aunt Carney?
If I introduce any of them,
Aunt Carney, I've been watching you from the
So you want to go ahead and bring the jurors in and do that
far.
during the break?
Feels like
What do you want to do, Deputy Dexter?
32 months makes you an OG.
Okay, well, I'm good. We're good on time.
We're great on time, Judge. We're actually 7 minutes over when we're supposed to start, so it's almost on time. This judge has been known to get a little bit angry, sort of like Judge Dad, but with a longer fuse. Judge Dad can come unglued at somebody. He can get really riled up. Judge Clark can as well. Mostly he just moves along. If anything, it seems like sometimes he doesn't give things a lot of thought before ruling, but I think it's due to his years of experience. Two defendants, jury trial, 2-day trial. I think it's what do we have? The charges were, I think I put them in the description. If you manage to look this time, because I normally don't. Dexter Owens, age 18, of Panama City, Florida, charged with aggravated battery and with a deadly weapon and robbery with a firearm. And Nathan Alexander, 19, out of Panama City, Florida, charged with 1 count of robbery with a firearm. So no deaths in this case, which is good. But Florida doesn't like people that commit crimes with firearms. We'll see what how this goes down. Kelly, Tennessee, member for 34 months, came for trial watching Stay for RA's personality in our community. Kelly, thank you so much for the kind words. OG. Also, Regina Adams, member for 34 months. OG. Just because we want it doesn't mean we're going to get it. Appreciate all the hard work from you and the mods. I think we're going to get it, though. I think we are. Young kids, stupid decisions. I don't know the whole storyline behind this one. The judge, as a matter of fact, just asked for the files this morning, was reviewing both the files on these cases just to get up to speed on them. So he's ready to move forward knowing what came before. They were arrested at a home an hour or so after the incident. I think we're going to find out a little bit about that. Other news while we wait for the judge to get everything in order.
Everything okay?
Todd Mullis, the corn rake trial. Judge just denied his request, his post-trial relief, a request for a new trial. The judge listened to arguments for this and then waited 15 months before issuing his ruling. We're expecting that ruling to come out today. Heads up, thank you, Kathy Russin from Law and Crime, who let us know that through Twitter, not us directly, but announced through Twitter that that decision had come in. He was denied a new trial. And we're anxiously awaiting the drop of the 80-page document that explains his reasoning. But I've never heard of a judge just sitting on it for 15 months before. I'll take that under advisement for 15 months, and then we'll tell you. So we're going to dig into a little bit about that. If you remember Todd Mullis, he got charged with the murder of his wife. He was a farm hand. I know there were some affair issues at some point in their marriage. Even the wife had potentially had an affair with one of the farm hands. She was found in the shed with a corn rake, which is one of those a rake that comes up and has like 3 or 4 tines that stick forward. So it's a 90-degree angle rake used for raking corn cobs in a cellar or something like that, in a big bin. Embedded in her back. The problem was there were more holes than there were tines. And Todd had a few things on his search history that were questionable. But there was a lot of reasonable doubt and not a lot of direct evidence linking him to the scene. But the jury convicted here and the judge denied the new trial. So we'll see how that goes. He had to drive. He picked up his wife, pulled the corn rake out, picked up his wife, put her in the car, and drove her to the hospital, or drove her to meet medics or something, and trying to do CPR and everything else on the drive. It was quite the trial, if you remember. But
are we ready to bring the jurors in?
I'm ready, Judge.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Deputy Dexter, whenever you're ready.
I think what we might have to do to get those documents is actually have somebody who's up in Iowa who can go to the courthouse. That's sort of the way Iowa does things. Online, it's just very, very difficult to get those documents. So if somebody is familiar with that process up near that, like Christine Red, if you are familiar with the process of retrieving court documents or getting copies of court documents, we'd love to find out if that's possible, and maybe even fund the cost if it's something reasonable, if there's anything involved in getting that for us, because we'd really like to see it. But reach out to us if you're able to find out and let us know if we can pull it off. Lady in Pink, welcome to the gallery. Thank you very much. Brand new member. Not brand new, because we've got a blue-collar courthouse, so we've been here for a couple months. Oh, Kathy Russin has a link to them already? Yes. In that case, we don't have to...
Yes, please.
Okay. Wow. We've got 54 pages.
How many? I think that's a record. Or, no. Maybe they don't think they get breaks, because we did we did take a break yesterday. Yeah. We took a break during jury selection. So it's not like being proactive.
Jury selection was yesterday. Took a little bit of time. That video is still up. This court does do jury selection in full view of the camera, and then once they're called, we don't get to see them unless they're walking in or out of the courtroom. I am captivating. Welcome to the gallery. Look at that. Red Courthouse. Congratulations. You're an OG. Thank you very much for your support. 38 months is what I'm showing. 38. Taxi Horses. Thank you. Thank you very much for your super sticker. And Allie for the sun balloon as well.
Yeah. Come here, listen to this. Come here and listen to this.
Y'all come up here and listen to this. This is the judge. Come here and listen to this. I could resize my picture to be the judge.
Mr. Owens needs the restroom.
Yeah, let's just.
I don't know if he's going to use this camera or not. I think it's going to be... It's normally like a wide view of the court, isn't it? Drama Mama, I need a grandbaby update. I need. It's been almost a week. Where's my update? I don't have one right now, unfortunately. Defendants are there on the right. Defendant with red hair, black sort of attire. The other guy might have stepped out briefly. Maybe she went and to use the little boy's room. Judge muted us briefly while he has a little sidebar unrelated to the case, but he seems to be in a good mood. Never seen him smile quite so much. He also has a very nice chair, which I am only a little bit jealous of. Looks quite comfortable. This case is robbery with a. Oh, that needs to move. Sorry. If I'm that big, we need to move this over. Like, I guess I just need to be smaller. I'm sorry. I can't be that big. Going to develop a complex if I'm that big on the screen. And not in a good way. There we go. So this is a brief little trial. Two defendants, Dexter Owens and Nathan Alexander, 18 and 19 years old, respectively. They have separate counsels. They're being tried together. They share one charge, and Mr. Owens has an additional charge of aggravated battery. But the charge they share, is robbery with a firearm. We learned just a little bit before this began, if you just joined us, that that firearm may have been an AR-15 rifle, which is a big gun. It's not a pistol by any means, although you can get to sort of pistol variants of those. Mendy Lou should have been here 20 minutes ago. Welcome, Mendy Lou. Appreciate that. Glad you can be here and mark yourself present. Southern CJB, thank you very much for the party blowers. I think that we have a sound for that. We do. 3 individuals arrived to conduct a drug deal in their car outside a home. Victim was attacked inside the car, pushed out, shot in the back. The car drove away. That's our case. I thought they said we were going to bring the jury, but we're still missing a defendant. We need one more defendant.
Bring the jury.
Well, we might have to read this Todd Mullis stuff. We find the greater weight of the appellate court. Said we find the greater weight of the credible evidence establishes Todd was vengeful over Amy's infidelity. He researched how to kill his wife on the internet. He planned her murder to avoid losing his farm in a divorce. Took advantage of the opportunity when his weakened wife went to the shed where he stored a corn rake. Todd slipped out of the barn, assaulted Amy, impaled her at least twice with the corn rake, and returned without being noticed by his son, who was busy cleaning ceiling lights. Later, Todd sent his son to find Amy. We conclude the credible evidence weighs in favor of Melissa's guilt. I have to tear into that. Selena K gifted a membership. Selena, thank you very much. Good to have you here this morning.
All right, let's bring them in. Get started.
All right, our other defendant just showed up. The bailiff is unshackling his hands as we speak. Both defendants in dark-colored clothing. The jury's going to come in through the gallery, as they normally do. So, yes, it's normal to see them here. I do believe the judge does lie to the jury members, though. Tells when they're not on camera, when they are.
Right, please. This way.
All right, the jurors, if you will remain standing, everyone else in the courtroom can have a seat.
I counted about 8. Does that sound right?
Good morning.
6 and 2
ladies and
alternates.
gentlemen, thank you for everybody being on time. I appreciate your patience. I had some things I had to take care of before I got up here. Madam Clerk, if you'll swear the jurors or place the jurors under oath.
You do solemnly swear that you will willingly try the issues between the state of Florida and the defendant, whom you shall have in charge, and the true verdict rendered according to the law and the evidence, so help you God.
You may have a seat. Adjust that chair the best you can. If you need some help, Deputy Dexter can instruct you. Let the record reflect all the jurors are present.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate the GOAT trophy.
Members of the jury, you have been selected and sworn as the jury to try the case of the state of Florida versus Nathan Michael Ash Alexander and Dexter Allen Owens. This is a criminal case. Mr. Alexander has been charged with 1 count of robbery with a firearm. Mr. Owens has been charged with 1 count of robbery with a firearm and 1 count of aggravated battery with a firearm. These are criminal cases, and the definitions of the crime will be explained to you later. You must decide this case based on the evidence presented and the law that I give you. Evidence consists of the sworn testimony of witnesses, exhibits admitted into evidence, and anything else I tell you to consider as evidence. The state's charging document, which is called an information, is not evidence and is not to be considered by you as any proof of guilt. It is my responsibility to explain the law to you. It is your solemn responsibility to determine if the state proved its accusations beyond a reasonable doubt against Mr. Alexander and Mr. Owens in accordance with the law that I provide to you. Thus, the province of the jury and the province of the court are well defined. They do not overlap. This is one of the fundamental principles of our system of justice. Before proceeding further, it will be helpful if you understand how a trial is conducted. At the beginning of the trial, the attorneys will have an opportunity, if they wish, to make an opening statement. The opening statement gives the attorneys a chance to tell you what evidence they believe will be presented during the trial. What the lawyers say is not evidence and is not to be considered, and is not evident, and you are not to consider it as such. Following the opening statements, witnesses will be called to testify under oath. They will be examined and cross-examined by the attorneys. Documents and other exhibits also may be produced or introduced as evidence. After the evidence has been presented, the attorneys will have the opportunity to make their closing arguments. Following the closing arguments by the attorneys, the court will instruct you on the law applicable to the case. The attorneys will then have the opportunity to make their closing arguments. Following the closing arguments by the attorney, the court will instruct you on the law applicable to the case. After the final instructions are given, you will retire to consider your verdict. You should not form any definite or fixed opinion on the merits of the case until you've heard all the evidence, the argument of the lawyers, and the instructions on the law that I give you. Until that time, you should not discuss your case Discuss the case among yourselves. Your verdict must be based solely on the evidence or lack of evidence and the law. Jurors must decide the case without distractions and only on the evidence presented in the courtroom. Jurors must not conduct any investigation on their own. This includes reading newspapers, watching television, or using a computer, cell phone, the internet, any electronic device, or any other means at all to get information related to this case or the people and places involved in this case. You may not visit places mentioned in the trial or use the internet to look at maps or pictures to see any place discussed during the trial. If you investigate, research, or make inquiries on your own, I have no way to make sure that the information you obtain is proper for the case. The parties likewise have no opportunity to dispute or challenge the accuracy of what you find. This is contrary to our judicial system, which assures every party the right to ask questions about and challenge the evidence being considered against it and to present argument with respect to that evidence. Any independent investigation by a juror unfairly and improperly prevents the parties from having that opportunity our judicial system promises. You are also not permitted to communicate about this case with anyone, including your spouse, family members, friends, neighbors, and even your fellow jurors. No communication includes no in-person, telephonic, or electronic communication, such as emailing, text messaging, posting information on social media or a website, or any other form of communication. During the trial, the court may take recesses, and you will be permitted to separate and go about your personal affairs. It is important to remember that the prohibition on communicating about this case applies during these recesses, whether you're at the courthouse or elsewhere. If at any time you find yourself in a situation where others are discussing the case in your presence, leave that situation at once and immediately report the matter to the bailiff, who will advise me. If you would like to take notes during the trial, you may do so. On the other hand, of course, you are not required to take notes if you do not want to. That will be left up to you individually. You have been provided a notepad and pen for use if you wish to take notes. Any notes that you take will be for your own personal use. However, you should not take them with you from the courtroom. During recess, the bailiff will take possession of your notes and will return them to you when we reconvene. After you've completed your deliberations, the bailiff will deliver your notes to me. They will be destroyed. No one will ever read your notes. If you take notes, do not get so involved in note-taking that you become distracted from the proceedings. Your notes should be used only as aids to your memory. Whether or not you take notes, you should rely on your memory of the evidence and should not be unduly influenced by the notes of other jurors. Notes are not entitled to any greater weight than each juror's memory of the evidence. All cell phones, computers, tablets, smartwatches, and other types of electronic devices must be turned off while you're in the courtroom. Turned off means that the phone or other electronic device is actually off and not in a silent or vibrating mode. You may use these devices during recesses, but even then, you may not use your cell phone or electronic device to find out any information about the case or communicate with anyone about the case or the people involved in the case. That's a reminder for everybody needs to turn your phones off. Do not take photographs, video recordings, or audio recordings of the proceedings or of your fellow jurors. After each recess, please double check to make sure your cell phone or electronic device is turned off. At the end of the case, while you're deliberating, you must not communicate with anyone outside the jury room. You cannot have in the jury room cell phones, computers, or other electronic devices. If someone needs to contact you in an emergency, the court can receive messages and deliver them to you without delay. Any juror who violates these restrictions jeopardizes the fairness of these proceedings, and a mistrial could result that would require the entire trial process to start over. A mistrial is a tremendous inconvenience to the parties, the court, and the taxpayers. If you violate these rules, you may be held in contempt of court and face sanctions, such as serving time in jail, paying a fine, or both. In every criminal proceeding, a defendant has the absolute right to remain silent. At no time is it the duty of a defendant to prove his innocence. From the exercise of a defendant's right to remain silent, a jury is not permitted to draw any inference of guilt, and the fact that a defendant did not take the witness stand must not influence your verdict in any manner whatsoever. The attorneys are trained in the rules of evidence and trial procedure, and it is their duty to make all objections they feel are proper. When an objection is made, you should not speculate on the reason why it is made. Likewise, when an objection is sustained or held by me, you must not speculate on what might have occurred had the objection not been sustained, nor what a witness might have said had the witness been permitted to answer. During the trial, it may be necessary to confer with the attorneys out of your hearing to discuss matters that require consideration by me alone. It is impossible to predict when such a conference may be required, how long it will last. When such conferences occur, they will be conducted to consume as little of your time as is necessary for a fair and orderly trial of the case. Mr. Sullivan, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Counsel.
All right, here's the state's open.
When Stephen Long woke up on October 11th, 2024, I doubt that he thought that would be the last day that he ever walked. In the early morning hours, just before 1 a.m. of October 12th, 2024, Stephen Long met up with a classmate, a schoolmate, to sell marijuana. I doubt he thought that in just a few moments later, he'd be lying on his back, on the ground, unable to feel anything below his chest, unable to get up, paralyzed from the gunshot to his back. Those morning hours of October 12th, 2024, Stephen Long was contacted over Snapchat by a classmate, Nathan Alexander. Nathan was known by a lot of people as Stubby. You're going to hear him referred to as both Nathan and Stubby during this trial. And Stubby was with some friends, and they were looking to buy some marijuana. So he reached out to Stephen Long. Stubby was with Dexter Owens, and they were at Dexter's house. There were some other individuals that were at that house as well. Juliana Connolly, Ayden Saliba, Dexter's stepsister, Jada Hall. At some point in time, they arranged this meeting to go buy marijuana from Mr. Long. And Mr. Saliba and Juliana Connolly get in one vehicle and go somewhere. Dexter Owens gets in Juliana's car as the driver. Nathan Alexander gets in the passenger seat. And Jada Hall gets in the back driver's side. And they go to meet Stephen Long. Mr. Long approaches the vehicle and gets in the back passenger seat. And when he does, he's got a firearm in his waistband on his hip. He's there to sell marijuana to these individuals, so he thinks. And that's when he realizes that this isn't what he originally thought it was. And he's robbed at gunpoint. They take his gun from him. They take his marijuana from him. And at one point, he tries to get out of the vehicle and flee. And Dexter Owens shoots him in the back. He either falls out of the car or gets pushed out of the car. Dexter Owens and the other two individuals in the vehicle begin to drive away. They very quickly stop, and Dexter tells his stepsister, Jada, who's 15 at the time, to get out and pick up something that fell out of the car. She gets out, she runs over to grab it, and what it is, it's the magazine to the gun that Dexter stole from Stephen Long. And you're going to see that today. The gun that was stolen was a Glock 19X, it's tan, and it had an extended 30-round magazine. So the magazine's about this long. Jada picks that up off the ground, gets back in the car, and they drive off. We go back to the residence that Mr. Owens was living at. And by that time, Ayden Saliba and Juliana Connolly are coming back to the residence as well. You're going to hear that there's some discussion going on in this house. And Dexter is telling Nathan Alexander that he's going to take the fall for this. He's going to take the blame. There's some discussion about how all he has to do is tell law enforcement that the victim, Stephen Long, was trying to rob them and he shot him in self-defense. You're going to hear that there was some bleach that was gotten out to clean the gun. And the gun was then given to Nathan Alexander to go out and basically tell law enforcement, I did it, I've got the gun. You're going to hear that during all of this, Nathan was crying and didn't want to do any of this that was being told to him. You're going to hear that law enforcement eventually showed up, surrounded the residence. They were there for a couple hours before they were ultimately given a search warrant by a judge. They had to go wake up in the middle of the night. And when they got the search warrant, they began to execute it, and people inside started to come out. Nathan Alexander came out, and he immediately says, "I've got a gun." They retrieve the gun. It's a .22 caliber pistol. You'll see that today as well. That .22 caliber pistol that Nathan Alexander had on him at that time is important because the bullet that was taken out of the victim's back at the hospital was a .22 caliber projectile. Law enforcement then goes into the house. They search the house, and you're going to see that the gun that was stolen from Stephen Long was hidden just in the closet of the bedroom that Dexter Owens was staying, that he was living in. You're going to hear that law enforcement found some other items in that room. Dexter Owens' driver's license, some marijuana. They found Nathan Alexander's wallet on him. The victim's wallet was found in his pants. Now, you may hear that the victim originally believed that they stole his wallet as well. He may testify to that today. I think you'll hear that ultimately law enforcement found his wallet in his pants pocket. He didn't realize he had it on him still. I submit to you probably because he was paralyzed from the chest down and couldn't feel or reach into his pants pockets and see. Now, you're going to hear today from Stephen Long. You're going to hear from Madison Adams and Tony Finney. They are two of the responding officers. You'll see a little bit of Officer Finney's body cam when he first arrived on scene. Madison Adams is going to tell you that during the course of this investigation, she responded to the residence where Dexter Owens was at. You'll hear that law enforcement didn't really know who was involved at first. They had a general idea of a person named Nathan, but the victim had Life 360 on his phone, and his girlfriend was able to track where his phone was at. You'll hear that law enforcement was able to track and see where the phone was located. They showed up to Dexter Owens' residence, and in one of the vehicles, they saw a phone on the back floorboard. They called Mr. Long's number, and that phone rang. That's kind of how they developed this house as the place where Dexter Owens and Nathan Alexander were then located. So you hear from Madison Adams, she'll kind of talk about that. You'll hear from Juliana Connolly, and I expect you're also going to hear from Jada Hall and John Hughes. Jada Hall and John Hughes are the stepsister and stepfather of Dexter Owens. They're going to talk a little bit about what happened in the house after law enforcement kind of showed up and was outside the house before they executed the search warrant and the individuals came outside. The last individual that I expect you to hear today is going to be Investigator Jake McGowan of the Bay County Sheriff's Office. And he's going to tell you kind of his role as the case agent. He was in charge of this investigation. He's going to tell you that he interviewed both Dexter Owens and Nathan Alexander, and you're going to get to hear those interviews today. We talked a little bit during jury selection yesterday about edited evidence, how things would be taken out if they were irrelevant or if they were against the rules of evidence, like hearsay. You'll see that those videos have had sections taken out. The judge will tell you not to concern yourself with what was taken out. They were taken out because it's not going to add anything to your understanding of the case. One thing that I do want to point out with these videos, when you observe the sheriff's office interview rooms, the electronic systems they have is not very great. And you'll see that the audio in the video is off a little bit. Specifically, you'll notice like when somebody opens the door to interview them, you'll see the door open, and then about 2 or 3 seconds later, that's when you'll hear the noise of the door. And you'll get to see sometimes somebody will gesture, and then you'll hear what he's actually saying that matches the gesture. So it's off a little bit, but that's because of the quality of the system. So just so you're aware when you're watching that. But I want you to listen carefully when you listen to those interviews, because what you're going to hear is during the interview with Mr. Alexander, I want you to watch his body language, watch his demeanor. watch how he's responding to the questions. And what he's going to tell you is that he didn't shoot Stephen Long. He's going to tell you that they were there to buy drugs, and he didn't shoot Stephen Long. You're going to hear some testimony from Stephen Long that he never saw Nathan Alexander with the gun. He's going to tell you that it was Dexter Owens that shot him. And when you watch Mr. Owens's interview, his story changes. He starts out by saying it wasn't him, he didn't do it. He's combative. Compare how he answers questions with how Mr. Alexander does. I will say that Investigator McGowan is more aggressive with Mr. Owens. You'll hear him raise his voice. But I think if you watch how the interview plays out, you'll see Investigator McGowan get frustrated with the lies that Dexter Owens is telling him. You'll see that eventually, after Investigator McGowan brings in Jada Hall to the interview room to confront some of these lies, after Investigator McGowan confronts Dexter Owens with some of the statements that his stepfather, John Hughes, gave, after Investigator McGowan says, look, if this was self-defense, you need to tell me. Only then does Dexter Owens then change his story to, okay, I did shoot him, but it was self-defense, like you said. So I want you to pay attention to kind of how that timeline changes during Mr. Owens' story. After you've heard all of these witnesses and you've gotten all the evidence in this case, the judge will give you the law that you'll apply. And there are two charges in this case, robbery and aggravated battery. To prove the crime of robbery, I have to prove four things beyond a reasonable doubt. I have to prove that Dexter Owens or Nathan Alexander, so they're both charged with robbery. That they took an item from Stephen Long. Specifically, what's charged in this case is they took his cell phone, marijuana, or his firearm. I don't have to prove they took all three. They only had taken one, but I submit to you they took all three of those. They took an item from Stephen Long. That item had some type of value, some type of monetary value. They took that item with the intention to deprive Stephen Long of the benefit of that item or to appropriate that item to themselves. Fancy legal speak to say they took it so he couldn't have it or so they could have it themselves. The fourth element that I have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt is kind of what we talked about yesterday during jury selection is the force or violence part. They took this item with force, violence, assault, or putting in fear. To prove the crime of aggravated battery, I have to prove two things beyond a reasonable doubt. One, that Dexter Owens, he's the only one charged with aggravated battery in this case, that Dexter Owens intentionally caused bodily harm or intentionally struck Stephen Long against his will. That's the definition of a battery. And then two, he committed the battery either with a deadly weapon or in committing the battery caused great bodily harm, permanent disability, or permanent disfigurement. And I submit to you that you'll hear that evidence during this trial. You'll see when Mr. Long comes in, he's in a wheelchair, he can no longer walk. That is permanent disability. After you've heard that evidence, I will then come back before you, and at that time there will be no reasonable doubt that these defendants are guilty of these crimes, and I will ask you to find both of these defendants guilty as charged. Thank you.
Well,
now, the first of two defense statements from the two parties being charged.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my name is Jim Ballack. I have the honor and privilege representing Mr. Nathan Alexander, as the state calls him, Stubby.
Stubby? The state calls him Stubby.
Mr. Alexander is charged with robbery with a firearm in this case. But I believe at the end of all the evidence and testimony, there'll be no doubt in your mind that there's a lack of evidence to support the theory that Mr. Alexander played a part in this robbery. the state used an example in their jury selection about The Town, the movie The Town, where a bunch of people in Boston conspire to rob Fenway Park. But I think that you're going to start to see in this case, as the evidence and testimony starts to come out, this is very, very different from that situation. Specifically, there's 3 people in the car here, a couple other friends that were in different cars. But in this car, there's a woman in the back who's not charged with robbery. So right there, we already know these 3 did not conspire. What I expect the evidence and testimony to show that Mr. Stubby was working at Burger King when he got picked up by his friends, and it was his turn to buy the weed that night. He had the money, and he intended on buying it. At no point will you hear any testimony from anybody that's going to tell you that they got in the car that night and they all talked about robbing Mr. Long. They never conspired, never intended, they never even talked about it.
This is not Burger King. People do not get to have it their way.
The state's right. Perfect. This is a tragic situation where the victim in this case is going to be coming in a wheelchair. He can't feel anything from the waist down. He probably never will walk again. But I want you to take yourself back to when this situation happened. Because when it happened, he wasn't in a wheelchair. When it happened, he could walk. And the state says, oh, well, when he woke up that day, he didn't think that he was going to get shot. This man was a drug dealer who brought a gun to a drug sale. That's what I expect the evidence and testimony to show. And I don't want you guys to be biased by how you see him today. I want you to take yourself back to the day of this incident. When this man was selling drugs, and he'll tell you he was smoking earlier that day, I expect the evidence and testimony to show that he was paranoid. And he brought a gun to a sale that should have just been a quick sale for a small amount of marijuana. I'm not sure what happened next. I think the evidence and testimony will show, hopefully, what did happen with the help of witnesses, Ms. Jada Hall, who was in the back seat. I expect her to give some context under the lead up. I don't expect her to tell anybody or provide any testimony regarding any plan, any intent, any conspiracy to rob Mr. Long. And specifically, that they never spoke about taking his cell phone, never spoke about taking his weed, and never intended on taking his gun. What I'm worried about is the state providing evidence to show that my client was the principal or principally involved. And in order to do that, they have to show 2 things: that Mr. Alexander intended on this crime to occur, and that the defendant did some act that assisted or encouraged this act. I don't believe there'll be any evidence or testimony to show that. My client has the right to remain silent. I expect him to testify. He's going to get on that stand, and he's going to tell you the truth. And he's going to be honest with you. He doesn't have to do that.
Sounds like he's going to testify.
Himself to cross-examination where he's not prepared for the questions. But I've advised him to just be honest, go up there and tell him what happened. And I expect he'll be able to do that. At the end of the case, I expect that the state will not be able to meet their burden to establish the elements of robbery. And if there is a lack of evidence and you find that there's reasonable doubt, I ask you render the only justified outcome and decision for Mr. Alexander and to find him not guilty.
Ms. Bennett, whenever you're ready.
Good morning. A lot of it has been said already, and there's a lot actually we're in agreement with. October 12th, 4 people, 4 friends meet want to hang out. That's Juliana Conley, who owns a gray silver sedan, or drove it. That's Ayden Saliba. He arrived in a black Lexus. That's Dexter Owens, who I have the honor to represent. And that's Mason Alexander Stubby. They're hanging out at Dexter's house. At some point, the idea comes up, they want to get some weed, smoke some weed. It is unclear whether or not there was some weed that somebody prior had or not, but in any event, that person wouldn't want to share. And it was very clearly Stubby's turn to go and buy weed.
It was Stubby's turn to
So
buy.
that's agreed upon. Everybody is in agreement. We're going to get a small amount of weed. Nothing big, not even an ounce. So they decide we're going to go and do that. Mr. Owens' younger sister, Jada, she lives in Alabama. She's here to visit, and she wants to visit one of her friends. So she says, hey, y'all, if you're going out, can you give me a ride, my friend? They go like, okay, we do that. Run into the problem now, they're 5 people, and don't want to basically pile into a car. So what they do is they agree that they split up the cars. Juliana gives her car to Stubby and Dexter and Jada. Stubby was supposed to drive first, only had a permit, so in the end, Juliana said Dexter can drive. Jada goes in the back, sits behind her brother, who's driving. Stubby sits in the passenger seat. And Ayden and Juliana are in the separate car in Ayden's black Lexus. They leave together, but at some point, Ayden and Juliana peel off and drive somewhere else. Now the other 3 arrive at Stephen Long's girlfriend's residence. How did they know to get there? Stubby actually had made contact with his drug dealer, Stephen Long, and that's where they were supposed to meet. Stubby was on the phone and was sending messages, Snapchat, phone calls, you have it, and made arrangements, whatever those arrangements may have been. So they drive out there, it's dark, it's late at the night at that point, and first thing Dexter does is he puts the car into a hole, some sort of drainage hole that there is. Stubby gets out, Stephen Long comes out, they direct him out, and then Dexter goes and backs into the driveway. There's agreement pretty much with everything that Mr. Sullivan and Mr. Ballack has said so far. Stubby goes back into the passenger seat, and Dexter is still in the driver's seat. Jada is still sitting behind him when Stephen Long enters the car. He goes in there, he carries a firearm, and he shows the firearm. Now a scuffle. Stephen Long is not known to Dexter or Jada. The only person who knows Stephen Long is Stubby, because that's his drug dealer, but also his friend from high school. A scuffle ensues. You will hear that from just about everybody. A shot is fired. You will hear that from just about everybody. Stephen Long falls out of the car. Everybody is frantic. Something has happened that was completely unplanned. They freak out. They start leaving. Jada gets out of the car, picks something up. They're going back to the residence. Stephen Long's girlfriend, Miss Massengill, Madeline Massengill, she's on the scene. She has her phone. She calls 911. Law enforcement arrives. Ambulance will arrive. At that point, they're there also freaking out. Mr. Long can't move his legs. Miss Massengill didn't know a whole lot of what was going on because she was sitting in her own car. She was not present in the silver gray sedan that the other 3 were in. What she saw is she heard a gunfire, she heard a shot, and she saw her boyfriend being shot. How do they find the 3 suspects? So the state wants you to believe that there was a robbery. There was no indication of any agreement on a robbery. The robbery may have been planned, if there would have been one, on phones. That's how everybody was communicating. Law enforcement collected those phones. Law enforcement did not pull any information from those phones. So we don't know what was said between them and who planned what via phone. So as law enforcement arrives, they learn that Nathan said what happened here, and Ms. Massengale informs Nathan was here, and she actually changes her story. At first was, yeah, Nathan got out, and they got into a disagreement, and finally, after changing her story multiple times, it comes out that yes, Stephen Long, her boyfriend, was to sell some marijuana, and then there was a shooting, and he fell out of the car. She says they took his phone. She said they took his wallet. She said they took his gun. His wallet is found on in his pants, which are cut off by EMS. So the wallet wasn't even taken at all. The phone was later on found in the back floorboard of the passenger side. So basically behind the passenger seat in the floorboard. And that's how they were located. Ms. Massengale says, I have 360 on my phone. It's a tracking app, and she was able to track that. So law enforcement at that point learned that there was, from Ms. Massengale and from Mr. Long, there was a robbery. They took stuff, and they went and left in a gray silver sedan, and Nathan was involved. Law enforcement at that point believed Nathan was the shooter, with all the evidence that they had. They believed that this had a drug deal gone bad, and this was a planned robbery.
I think this is the witness chair. Well,
There was no physical evidence to back any of that up, other than there was a shooting and there was a planned drug deal, because everybody will agree with that. So law enforcement comes, they're doing what they do. They say, hey, we're looking for this man, Nathan. His name may be Nathan Alexander. They're informing each other. And they say, well, think that they're close to Mr. Owens' home at this certain address. And they all go there. Now it's a trailer park. There's multiple trailers. What they see is a black car and a silver car. There's also some other cars. So they're going through the neighborhood and trying to locate the correct car. At some point, they have the idea that, hey, they're communicating back and forth. At some point, they have the idea and say, well, here's a car with a phone in it. Let's call that and see if that's Mr. Long's car. The phone was still in the car in the back passenger floorboard. So they call that. The phone goes off, and they match the car to the house it was parked in front. They're getting ready to do law enforcement things, planning to get everybody out of the house, securing the perimeter, doing all of that. And at some point, they're going to go and have a loudspeaker and basically order everybody out of the house. Everybody comes out. Nathan comes out first, carrying a gun, says, I'm Nathan, and this is the gun that Long was shot with, and I'm a shooter. He's taken aside. Everybody else comes out. There's a whole lot of melee going on. There were several people in the house. Jada was in the house. Mr. Hughes, who's stepdad, was in the house. His mom, other kids that belong to Mr. Hughes, some small babies, lots of people in the house. So it takes a while for everybody to come out. They come out, and law enforcement collects everybody, takes statements. Now, there is 5 people that were close to the scene. Dexter, Stubby, Jada, Stephen, and Matt. None of them have given a statement that hasn't changed. None of them
have given a statement that hasn't changed. They've all changed their statements?
How did law enforcement know what happened? We have all these statements. They get an idea. They know, okay, if this has happened up here at this address of Ms. Massengale, and we know that there was a shooting. We know there was pot involved. But how did they know what happened? So one would think they look at the phones. They didn't. They collected firearms, and they took DNA of those firearms. What did they do with the DNA? Nothing. It was not sent into process. They had basically 3 scenes to go with. They had the scene at Ms. Massengale's house. Did they do a scene reconstruction? Did they figure out where would the car have been parked in relation to Mr. Long would have been found? Where exactly would have been the item that Jada picked up? How is this possible when they peeled out? Are there any tire tracks, anything like that, again, in relation to what Mr. Long had done? What of those that they did do? Nothing. None. They had the crime scene, the car, to take to their station. They found it in front of Mr. Owens' house, the gray sedan that is said to where the shooting has happened in. And the state wants you to believe that Nathan and Dexter sit in the front seat, let somebody get into the back seat, and rob him from there. The most inconvenient setup and illogical. They want you to believe that they were sitting in these positions. Did the police reconstruct if that was physically possible for them to do? They had the car. They could have taken, they had a warrant for the car because they searched it later on the scene of Dexter's house. They could have taken the car to the garage, to their evidence garage, where they frequently investigate all kinds of cars from accidents and that. They could have measured. They could have looked in there. They could have taken other people and say, how could this have possibly happened physically? Who would have had to sit where? Did they do any of that? No, they didn't do any of that. So what we have here is law enforcement coming up with a theory very early in the case that must have been, it was a drug deal.
It's not the time for argument.
The law enforcement will testify to that.
I'll overrule it this time, so move on.
Law enforcement will tell you that early in the case, they developed a case theory, which is that in their case theory, which they developed at the scene of Ms. Massengale's house, the shooting, that Nathan and Dexter must have came to rob Mr. Long because this was a drug deal and a shooting occurred. And they followed that lead from the get-go. They disregarded, and you will hear that, you will hear the different statements, that everybody involved directly changed their testimony. How do we know? How did they know which one was true? Did they go and use the physical evidence to back up any of the statements? They did not. So this case, what you will see is that in the end, there's a lot we agree on. These folks went out there for a drug deal, and Stephen Long got shot. That's agreed upon. There was a scuffle in the car. Nobody knows how this came about because the testimony of all involved changed, and an investigation for the physical evidence was simply not done because the cops had already decided what their theory is very early in the case.
This is the argument.
I ask you, when you listen to all the evidence that comes about, not just to listen to what's there, but also what should be there. Missing evidence is one of the parts that you see in your jury instructions that can be determinative of your ruling. This case is very sad. Somebody got hurt very bad by bringing a gun to a drug deal. And nobody wished that on him.
I didn't know we were doing another shot in the back.
There's no evidence to show that a robbery occurred, that a robbery was planned, that a shooting was planned, and that a shooting was intended to hurt Mr. Long. That leaves reasonable doubt And we ask you to find Mr. Owens not guilty for that. Thank you.
Call your first witness. Stephen Long.
Stephen Long, the victim in this case. I didn't realize we're doing another shoot in the back trial back to back. I'm sorry, we can't say that, but let's see. I am trying to, with these 720p cameras, which might even be 480p resolution, we are going to do some zoom in so the witness chair looks like this. We can also zoom in on the tables and stuff like that. If we need to, we can zoom in on the judge if he's going to talk for a while. But we're going to, back to back. I should not say back to back. Frosty Jenks, member for 37 months. OG. I don't know if he's going to be sitting. If he's in a wheelchair, he's probably. They're making room for the wheelchair. Let's see, here he comes right now. And we might not get to see him. Let's see how this goes. The judge is peering over his bench right now. Wants to see what the setup is. Let's see. It looks like they're going to try to get him to the witness stand right here. There you go. Oh, excellent, excellent. Just had to go around the table.
Mr. Long, if you'll speak directly to that microphone loud enough where everyone can hear you, Mr. Sullivan, you may inquire whenever you're ready.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Can you introduce yourself to the jury?
I'm Stephen Long.
Mr. Long, how old are you?
20.
We'll take you back to October of 2024. Let me start by asking, do you know Nathan Alexander?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, what was that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How do you know Mr. Alexander?
I went to school with him for a brief time in high school.
Okay. Would you say you guys were friends, acquaintances, classmates?
Friends at the time.
Does he go by a nickname?
Stubby.
Stubby, that's what you refer to him as?
Sometimes. Usually I just used to call him Nathan most of the time.
Okay. But other people would call him Stubby?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Now, I want to take you to October of 2024. Did you know Dexter Alexander at that time?
No.
Sorry, Dexter Owens at that time?
No, sir.
And what about Jada Hall?
No, I knew her. I went to school with her as well.
What about Juliana Connolly?
Went to school with her as well.
And Ayden Saliba?
No, sir. I don't know that.
In October of 2024, was there a time where Mr. Alexander reached out to you to purchase marijuana? Yes, Nathan.
Yes.
Okay. How did Nathan reach out to you?
He added me on Snapchat.
You guys communicated over Snapchat?
Yes.
Snapchat, that's an app for your cell phone?
Yes.
And with Snapchat, when you send messages, you can read them and then they disappear?
Yes, sir.
Snapchat. The weed purchasing app.
Did you ultimately agree to sell marijuana to Nathan?
Yes, sir.
Did you know, were you selling just to Nathan or were you selling to him and other individuals?
I thought it was just Nathan.
Did you agree to meet up at some point in time?
Yes, sir.
Where did you agree to meet up at?
Where I was, my girlfriend at the time's house.
You're at your girlfriend's house?
Yes, sir.
What part of town was that in?
Bayou George. It was out there towards that way.
Okay. What time of day or night are we talking about this meetup was?
Pretty late, like 2, 3 in the morning. And
could it have been a little bit earlier, midnight, 1, somewhere in that range?
Could have. I'm not sure.
It wasn't still light out though.
No, there was no light.
So you agreed to meet up. At some point in time, does Nathan show up?
Yes.
Okay. What was he driving, or how did he get there?
He was in the passenger side.
Okay. Did you see who was driving?
Yes, sir.
Did you know the person who was driving?
At the time, no, sir.
Was it a male or a female?
Male.
Was the male white or black?
Black.
Were the driver and then you said Stubby was in the passenger seat?
Yes.
Were those two individuals the only two in the car?
And there was a third.
And where was the third person located?
In the back seat along with me.
Did you know who that person was at that time?
No, sir.
Could you tell whether that person was a male or a female?
No, sir.
Why not?
Because they had a mask on.
Okay. So when the individual, or when this car drives up, what type of car was it?
I believe it was like a Kia of some kind, maybe, or a Nissan or something. I'm not exactly sure.
A Kia?
Small car.
Four-door sedan.
Four-door sedan. Do you remember what color?
Silverish, like maybe a gray. So
when the car arrives, what do they do? What happens?
They just back in, and I end up getting into the back seat behind Nathan.
When you say back in, you mean back into the driveway?
Yes.
Before you got in, did the car kind of get stuck at some point?
Yeah. I had to like kind of help direct them.
What did they get stuck? How did they get stuck?
At the house I was at, there's a like drop off in the drainage ditch, and they drove off of her driveway down into the drainage ditch. Like,
well, after you get that squared away, you get in the vehicle.
Yes.
What part of the vehicle did you get into?
The back passenger.
Now, when all of this happened, you were there to sell marijuana?
Yes.
How much marijuana were you planning on selling?
It wasn't very much. It was like an eighth or a quarter. I'm not exactly sure the amount.
An eighth or a quarter? That would have been, what, 3.5 to 7 grams?
No.
How much would you sell, let's say, an eighth for?
Probably about $30, if that.
And then a quarter would have been twice that, so about $60?
Yes, sir.
Somewhere in that range?
Yes,
sir.
Get a price update? I don't know what it goes for.
What was the marijuana in when you?
Just a bag. That's all.
Like a Ziploc bag, plastic bag.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Ziploc not a sponsor.
So what happens when you get in the vehicle?
I get in the passenger back seat, and I hand Nathan the weed. And at the time, my girlfriend at the time is texting me, so I look down at my phone because it looks or appears that he's counting money. So
when you say he, who?
Nathan.
Okay. From the passenger seat.
From the passenger seat.
Did you actually see any money in his hand?
No, I was too sidetracked by what was being texted to me.
Did you? Okay, so you look down at your phone. What happens then?
I look down at my phone, and all I hear is Dexter, I believe. Dexter say, "Hey, what's that?" And
I want to stop for a second. So you didn't know who Dexter was at that time?
No.
So when you say you hear Dexter, who are you referring to?
The driver.
So you hear the driver say, "Hey, what's that?"
Right.
But you didn't know who he was?
Nope.
Okay. So you hear the driver say, "Hey, what's that?" And what do you do?
When I look up, I don't move. I look up because I don't know what's going on, and I have a gun in my chest.
Okay. Who was pointing the gun at you?
Dexter.
And again, you didn't know his name at the time, just the driver.
Just the driver. That's all I knew.
Okay. You've later come to learn that the driver was Dexter Owens?
Yes.
Okay. So you have this gun pointed at you. What do you do at that point?
I don't know. I just sit there and I let him, Dexter specifically, take everything. I mean, my phone, everything I had on me. And after that, we're sitting there for about a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Nothing's being said. I'm waiting on him to tell me to get out the car or something. He doesn't say anything. So I try to turn to run.
We'll get to that in a second. So you said that he took everything from you.
Yes, sir.
You didn't hand it over to him?
No, I let him take everything. I didn't move. I was scared to move.
What all did he take from you?
He took my phone and the gun I had on my person.
Okay. You said you had a gun on you?
Yes, sir.
Where was the gun located?
Waistband or waistband.
What type of gun was it?
A Glock, I believe.
Sorry?
A Glock.
A Glock? What color?
A 10.
Was there anything unique about it?
No, not that.
What about the magazine?
It was long at the time, I guess.
It was what?
Long, like.
It was a long magazine?
Yeah.
Okay. Prior to
What caliber was it?
Mr. Owens taking it, did you ever take that gun and point it at anybody?
No.
Did you ever threaten anybody with it?
No.
You said that you saw the driver pointing a gun at you. Did you ever see the passenger, Mr. Alexander, with the firearm?
No, not visually, nothing.
May I approach, Your Honor?
May approach.
Showing you what's been admitted in evidence in State's Exhibit 32.
Yes, sir.
Is this the gun that you had on you that night?
Yes, sir.
Is this the magazine that you had on you that night? This is the gun and magazine that was taken by Mr. Owens?
Yes.
Now, after you said you sat there for a few minutes.
Yes, sir.
You started to say you went to leave just to get away.
Yes, sir.
What happened at that point?
I proceed to, I'm about halfway out of the vehicle, and all I hear is Dexter, the driver, say, can I curse? Or,
Yes. Well, you can say what you heard. Yes.
okay, he says, oh, fuck no. And then I feel him physically hit me in the back with the gun, and he shoots me.
Now, when you had turned to get out of the vehicle, was your back towards the people inside the car?
I was almost completely out of the vehicle, and my feet were on the ground.
Okay. And that's when you hear Mr. Owens make that statement?
Yes.
You feel the gun pushed into your back?
Yes.
And that's when you're shot?
Yes, sir.
What happens at that point?
I fall out of the vehicle. I'm laying in the grass, and my girlfriend at the time is, in a different area. She comes running to me, checks on me. Then I hear, like, they pull off. I hear, like, stomping on brakes, and I look over, and they had dropped something. One of them ran over, and I told Maddie to go hide.
So after the car with Mr. Owens and Mr. Alexander and Miss Holland, they start to drive off. They stop.
Yes.
You said somebody got out. Do you know which of the individuals it was?
It was the one wearing the mask.
The person in the back seat?
Yes.
What did that person do?
They ran and grabbed whatever they have dropped.
Do you know what they had grabbed?
I believe it was the clip to the gun.
To what?
The clip to the gun.
Which gun?
The one they took off of me.
So that long magazine right there?
Yes, I believe so. I'm not sure.
Now, when you were shot, you weren't shot with your own gun, were you?
No.
You were shot with the gun that Mr. Owens and Mr. Alexander had brought to this meeting?
Yes, sir.
Would have been stippling. That's a
Law
contact
enforcement eventually
shot.
showed up?
Yes.
And did they start asking kind of who was involved?
Yes, sir.
And your new girlfriend gave them the name Nathan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, did you have any other name that you could give them at that time?
I had no knowledge of anyone else other than Nathan.
When you told law enforcement that Nathan was involved, were you telling them that he was specifically the person who shot you?
No. I meant him more for he was there.
Okay. Your testimony today is that it was the driver that shot you.
Yes.
You couldn't give law enforcement the driver's name at that time, could you?
No, I could not.
When law enforcement showed up, it's fair to say that you were in a lot of pain?
Yes.
Pretty hysterical?
Yes.
Now, we obviously saw, as you came in, Mr. Long, you're in a wheelchair.
Yes, sir.
the injuries that you sustained, is that why you're in a wheelchair?
Yes, sir.
Being shot in the back caused you to become paralyzed?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Long, do you see the individual in the courtroom that shot you that night in October of 2024?
Yes, sir.
Can you identify him for me?
Yes.
Let the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant, Dexter Owens.
The record so reflect.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Ballot?
They're making eye contact. They're glaring at each other.
Mr. Long, my name is Jim Bell. I can ask you some questions.
Yes, sir.
I want to go back to October of 2024. Do you remember what you were doing that day? Earlier that day, do you remember anything that you were doing?
I was just hanging out with my girlfriend at the time.
Were you guys smoking that night?
Yeah, I listened to this.
You smoke pretty often?
I did at the time, yes.
You ever get paranoid when you smoke?
No.
No. It was October 2024, so you had a bunch of like decorations in the yard, right?
Yes, she did.
You guys are like one of the houses that does a lot of decorations for Halloween. It's pretty normal for people to be driving by slow, to be watching and looking at them.
Right.
And at the time, you were dealing drugs back then, right?
Yes.
Was it just weed, or was there other?
Just weed.
Okay. How much would you like to move in a month or a week?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained.
Had you ever sold to Mr. Alexander before?
No.
You guys said that you were friends in school. What's the extent of like that friendship?
We were pretty decent friends. I ended up leaving school, like I stayed for about a year, so we weren't able to be good friends, but we were pretty decent friends on a daily basis, hanging out.
Did you guys ever smoke together?
I don't remember. That was quite a while ago.
Did he ever pose a threat to you or anything in the past?
No, I've never seen him that way.
You never saw him in that light, right?
No.
I want to talk about the gun that you had. You said it was a tan Glock. Did you have it holstered?
What do you mean?
Like, was there a clip on it?
Like it was
a deputy would have?
No, it was a regular waistband.
Okay, so it was just in your waistband. Was it in the front or the back?
Front.
Just shove it down my pants.
And could you see it? Could you see at least the handle showing?
I don't even believe so, no, sir.
So you had your shirt over it?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't.
Okay, and was it registered?
I don't recall.
Okay, so it was unregistered. At some point, the three individuals, they pull up and they back into the driveway, and then I think you direct them how to get out of the drainage ditch.
Yes.
And Mr. Alexander gets out of the car at that time too, right?
I don't remember him getting out of the car at that time. It's possible, though. I don't know.
But there was nothing at that point that would alarm you that like this situation was going to turn into anything other than a drug deal?
No.
Was Mr. Alexander nervous at all?
I didn't. No, I didn't appear so. No, sir.
What about the woman in the back seat? You said that she was wearing a mask. Are you talking about like a shiesty?
Yes.
And did she have it over her face, or did she just have it on top of her head?
Over her face completely.
We might need a shiesty on the.
Was it cold out?
Picture.
It's not really. No.
At one point, you get in the car and then you give Stubby the drugs, right? And he's counting the money, he's going to give it to you, then the drug deal is going to be over, right?
Right.
At what point does Mr. Owens allegedly point the gun at you?
I hand with him the money. It appears he's counting it, and like pretty soon after, I'm literally reading the text from my girlfriend, and I hear him say what he said, and then I look up. That's when he.
Okay. Is it your testimony then that there was no hustle that started then?
No, there was no.
So you guys never got into a physical altercation?
Nope.
Okay. So he tells you, give me the gun in your waistband?
He physically.
What is that?
He physically takes it from me. I don't move. I still hold in my phone. I don't move it up.
So it's your testimony that the gun that wasn't even showing because you had your shirt over it, he just grabbed it from you without any warning or any?
Yeah, he grabbed it. He robbed me, yes, sir.
Okay. And you said that he took your cell phone too?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you know that it was actually found on the floorboard of the back seat?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how did it go from him taking it to now it's in the back seat?
It was no longer in my possession. It was in the car with them.
Okay, but it's not possible that could have just fallen out?
I don't, like, I know that I didn't have it, and whenever, after I got everything took it from me, I didn't have it.
And you also thought they took your wallet, right?
I did, yes.
They did?
Yeah, I figured that out later on, yes.
And then it's also your testimony that Nathan Alexander never had a firearm, right?
Not that I saw, I don't.
I don't think I have any other questions, John.
Just a minute.
I got a stubby little pencil.
All right. Next defense attorney gets to ask questions. Round two, if she has any that weren't asked by the first one. Record scratch.
I have a few follow-up questions here. Mr. Sullivan asked you what gun shot you, and that was not your gun, correct? You also said that you were attempting to exit when you were shot?
Yes.
And was the door to the car open or closed?
It was open.
When you tried to get out, were you facing the door?
Yes, ma'am. I was going out of the car. Yes, ma'am.
How did you see who shot you when you were facing the opposite way?
He held a gun to my chest, ma'am.
But you were shot in the back, correct? Not in your chest?
Yes, ma'am. I heard him. Yes, ma'am.
So, are you able to tell us where the bullet hit you in your body?
Yes, ma'am. It's in my spine at G2, which is about right here.
And were you told at any point how it traveled, like from the left to right or right to left, anything like that?
Yes, it severed my spine completely and it shattered two vertebrae and got stuck in between the two vertebrae.
So, and what did that tell you? Did the shot come from the left or from the right? In your spine?
I don't believe they told me that.
They didn't tell you that?
I don't believe so, no, ma'am.
Okay. That day, you said you were wearing pants. Was that shorts or long pants?
I believe it would be pants. I don't recall, though. I don't remember.
Were you wearing a belt?
I don't recall. Sorry.
The firearm that you had, the tan Glock, with the long magazine, you said you had that in the front of your pants?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you didn't wear a belt, how did it stay there?
But it would have just stayed there. I don't.
What kind of shirt, how long was the shirt that you were wearing?
Decent size shirt, like probably to like, I don't know how to explain that part of your body, like my upper thighs maybe.
So it was long enough to cover the firearm entirely?
I believe so.
Was that the only firearm you brought?
Yes, ma'am.
So you said that you get into the car, the drug deal starts, your gun is still completely covered by your shirt and your pants. And Mr. Owens is sitting in the front driver's seat.
Yes.
And you're sitting behind the passenger seat.
Yes, ma'am.
And how did Mr. Owens know you had a gun?
He must have saw something or some sort of that way.
Why were you bringing the gun to the drug deal in the first place?
Ignorance, honestly. I thought maybe I would be, I don't know, just ignorance, honestly.
Did you do drug deals quite frequently?
No, not really. Only to people like my friends or that I knew. No, not too often.
Did you bring a gun to all the other drug deals?
Objection, relevance.
Overruled.
Can you answer that?
Mm-hmm.
You may answer that.
Oh, I mean, yeah, sometimes it just depends on how like the situation feels. At the time,
But you knew Nathan.
yeah, but also like I heard other things too.
What do you mean you heard other things?
Calls for hearsay. Objection. Objection. That was a quick response. I'd heard other things too. Somebody warned me about these two. Yeah, this would be prejudicial more than probative. Let's go back to judge at the sidebar now. I think the judge will have to sustain this objection. So Stubby and Long, were they the two defendants? Or was Long somebody else? Long is someone else. Okay. Long is the victim. Oh, man. Got this completely backwards. Need to add his photo here. All right. Trying to make a new thumbnail sketch for this, but it's proving difficult. Dexter Owens is the other defendant. Dexter is the red hair, right? Dexter has red hair. Nathan Alexander. I don't know. Man, no, Dexter's the other guy? Which one has red hair, Nathan or Dexter?
Going back to when you were in that car, and you said you were on your phone, and there was a passenger sitting right next to you, wearing a mask. Is that the type of mask that's frequently worn by young people now?
Yes, it is.
And
what type of mask is that?
When you made the arrangements with Nathan, you said you used Snapchat, and did you use any other apps as well?
No, ma'am.
You remember having talked to the police prior?
No, I don't.
So, you remember after you were being shot that you talked to law enforcement at all?
No, ma'am.
You do not remember that you talked to them?
I don't remember, no, ma'am.
So it could be you talked to them and you have no recall?
Yes, ma'am. I don't recall that at all.
And after, so you remember law enforcement coming to the scene of the shooting?
Yes, sir. I mean, yes, ma'am. I remember just one officer being there before I was put in the ambulance.
Okay. And then do you remember whether or not you talked to any officer at Bay Medical before the surgery?
No, I have no recall. I remember being in the ambulance and everything, but
Okay. Do you remember talking to an officer after your initial surgery?
No, ma'am.
So, and any of those statements there, if an officer talked to you, you wouldn't recall what you said during those statements at all?
No, ma'am.
Would it help you to look at those statements?
I mean, I could try to look at them if you'd like me to.
You just say no. Nope. Memory's gone. Won't refresh my recollection.
I'll give you a moment to look over that.
He's reviewing his prior statement.
And I want to direct your attention to the bottom of the first page, that the last two paragraphs.
Yes, ma'am.
And you were talking to the officer about.
I'll let her ask the question, then I'll rule on the objection.
Do you see where you talked about the officer of what kind of social media was used?
Yes, ma'am.
What about the first page?
If he says MySpace, I get bingo. These cameras are terrible. I'm trying to liven it up a little bit because I can switch between. I can zoom in between them. But we only have the 3 angles.
Did you see that you were talking to the officer about social media?
Yes, ma'am.
Did that help you with your memory?
I don't recall saying any of this.
Are you denying that you said it?
At this point, we ask that the witness is allowed to read those into the evidence.
Oh, there's just improper impeachment here that's not inconsistent with this testimony.
Sustained.
You have to ask that. Are you denying that you said that?
Thank you. So, Mr. Long, you said that Dexter kind of grabbed towards the gun.
He grabbed the gun, yes, ma'am.
Greeners, that would be an upgrade. That would be.
So you were still sitting
improving the video
behind the passenger's seat.
Yes, ma'am.
And Dexter was still in the front seat behind where the steering wheel is.
Yes, ma'am.
So he turned around and grabbed for your gun.
Yes, ma'am.
What did you do at that point?
Nothing. I was still on the phone.
What did you do with your phone at that time?
Nothing. I just I sat there. I didn't move. I panicked completely.
So you said you stayed completely still. At what point did you decide to make for the door?
after he held a gun to my chest for like 2 minutes or so, 3 minutes after he robbed me.
So, what did Nathan do during that time?
Quiet, just sat there.
He didn't help you?
Mm.
He didn't help Dexter?
No, it didn't appear that way. No.
And so the gun that you said Dexter held a gun to your chest. That was not your gun.
Right.
And then he grabbed your gun and he grabbed your phone.
Mm.
And were you scuffling at all? Or?
No, ma'am, I'm just sitting just like this, not moving at all.
So, and then you say he held the gun to the front of you. And then how did you get from that position to the next position?
What do you mean? Like, I just made a quick thought in my head, like, that quick decision, and I'm going to run, and it was immediate.
So the gun was still on your front when you decided to run? Yes,
if it would have been sooner, he would have shot me in the chest.
And so then so at that point, you turn around and you say Dexter then shot you in the back.
Yes, ma'am.
And is it possible that your phone could have fallen at that point?
It could have fallen.
Okay.
The Zoom just decided to take over. Guess we'll look at the judge instead because he's looking a little grumpy right now. Where's the judge? Here he is. Blurry and grumpy.
You know what happened to your clothes that you were wearing that day?
No, ma'am. No.
And but you did get your wallet back that was found in your pants.
I don't think so. I think they still have it in evidence. I never got it. I have a new wallet.
Okay, but you don't know where it was found.
No, ma'am.
You have a moment?
Yes.
Judge takes a few notes.
That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Can you reiterate?
Just a few questions. Just one, you were asked about the path of the bullet. The bullet ultimately lodged in your spine.
Yes.
Do you know where the entry wound was?
Yes, sir. It's about roughly like right here on this side of my chest, on my spine.
Would you know where it entered your body? Was it a little bit farther, kind of towards your shoulder?
Yes, it was kind of towards my shoulder, like going this way.
Okay, so it entered your right side of your back and traveled to the left towards your spine.
Right.
Okay. Now, you were asked a bunch of questions about why you showed up to this drug deal with the gun. Remember me asked this question? Prior to going to meet Mr. Alexander, you were just hanging out with your girlfriend.
Yes.
You had the gun on you all day?
It was there, yeah.
It was there?
Yeah, it just happened to be.
You didn't, after Mr. Alexander contacted you, it's not like you went and specifically found the gun to take.
No.
You had it with you. Mr. Alexander happened to reach out to you on a day that you had a gun there. Yes. Now, you were also asked about the individual in the back seat. She had a mask on.
Yes.
And I think you told Ms. Bennett that it was the kind that kids wear common nowadays.
Yes.
So when you got in the car and saw this individual with the mask, that didn't like raise any alarm bells or anything?
Not immediately.
You didn't think anything of it?
No.
No further questions, Tom.
Any other questions?
Just a few, Ron. Mr. Long, you mentioned that when asked why you brought the gun, you said you were just ignorant.
Yeah.
Don't you think it was intentional?
No, I mean, no, I wouldn't. Like, it wasn't my thought process of me trying to hurt nobody. I just literally had it. That's it.
Were you sitting with the gun in the house?
It was, yeah, I believe.
You're sitting on the couch with the gun?
No,
Probably by the door?
While smoking
no, like, at the time, I already had it on me. Like, when this was later on at night.
So you get a call or a text from Snapchat, I want to buy some weed, and you have the gun on you.
No.
And it's loaded.
No, it was not.
It's not loaded? It wasn't a magazine?
There was a magazine with it.
And it was an extended clip magazine?
Yes.
And it was on your register.
That's the answer. Just think.
You brought it with you to the sale.
Yes.
Because you had every intent to use it, right?
No, sir.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Actually, no.
Okay. Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Can the witness be excused?
I'd ask that we remain under subpoena.
As long as you're leaving the courtroom, however, you're still under subpoena, still under the rules, so you're subject to being recalled, okay?
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our mid-morning break. It's quarter till. We're going to start back at 11 o'clock. Remember to leave your notepads in the courtroom. Do not discuss the case among yourselves or with anyone else. Don't check any media sources or use your electronic devices to find out any more about the case you know right now. I'm going to speak to you and also to everybody else in the courtroom. The way the courthouse is designed, I can't keep everybody separate, but I'm informing everybody that's in the courtroom, do not have any contact with the jurors, and I'm going to ask the jurors not to have any contact with anyone that you recognize in the courtroom. If you'll follow the bailiffs in the back, and we'll start back in 15 minutes.
15 minutes. All right, we get a little bit of a break because we are live. We get to just chill for a minute and we can look around the courtroom, see as the jurors leave. There they go. Let's let them out first.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the courtroom, you can have a seat. If you'll just wait a moment until the bailiffs allow you to go out and let the jurors begin their break. We'll be in recess for 15 minutes.
Judge, just get me out of this hot robe. Reaches for the zipper. Let's do a quick little comparison of the chairs, though. I think that's appropriate. The judge's chair, if we look nice and close at this one, is quite nice. He looks overstuffed, tufted. He's got a little extra padding for a headrest in case you want to recline and comfortably relax your cranium. I like that. I like that a lot. Comparatively, down there in the pews, in the cheap seats, it's not quite the lap of luxury, as we got hardwood benches, but a little softer chairs for the lawyers and the defendants. And the witness, if we look at the witness chair, this is an Office Depot special. Probably, I think you get one of these free with each case of paper you purchase. The court probably goes through a lot of paper, so they get a lot of free witness chairs. These are practically disposable, single-use chairs. Anything but comfortable. The only thing they do boast is that they have the ability to rise and lower, as well as have mesh on the back. It's not that the mesh is any added feature, like a product enhancement. It's just that it was the cheapest thing to make the chair out of. So that's what they do. All right. The chair was so lousy the witness brought his own. I feel bad for the guy. I wouldn't wish an injury like that, a life-changing injury, on anybody. And once again, he probably made a couple poor decisions that increased the odds of something happening. But yeah. Let's see. What do you think of my office chair I got from Aldi? I believe I paid $14.99. Hey, Aldi has some good stuff. It's good stuff. Does the judge's chair recline? Yes, it does. He's been known to lean back a little bit, a time or two, much like Judge Dad. So, cheap office chair is better than the leatherette chair we had, where the leatherette began peeling and shredding all over the carpet within 18 months. Walger, that you're describing the chair I have, which has not started peeling yet. But the fake leather covers the fact that there was very little padding used. Southern CJB, I'm a huge fan of Aldi. Everything but the quarters they require for their carts. They make you rent a cart. I guess you get your money back if you return the cart. Well, now you're doing their work for them. I would rather not take somebody else's job, even if it gives me a quarter to do it. So, all right, going after the chair because he doesn't have answers. Hello, what was your question? Hello. Did I miss it? I missed your question. Your real question. Did he say it was not registered? Not registered. Hello. I said not. He said he doesn't know, and the lawyer said so it's not registered, and it was not corrected. So the idea that that it was not registered is basically in the minds of the jury. All right, I do try to answer questions. Are you ready for the Judge DeSanto hearing today? I'm well excited. What's DeSanto? Oh, what's up with DeSanto? Hang on. Where is this the... Remind me of what DeSanto's hearing is. All these shoppers are so kind. At my store, people always leave quarters for the next customer, meaning they just leave their cart and don't return it. I love that. Fun fact, Trader Joe's is an Aldi. Careful, they don't fight words. Those Trader Joe customers are practically rabid in their defense of the store. Aldi is a proud German business of quarter extortionists. That's how they keep their prices long per Aldi. No music in the store, self-refilling cold sections. Hey, the no music in the store is a huge boon for someone like me who wants to film my shopping excursion. I'm tired of giving Taylor Swift money because she was being played in the background while I'm looking for jalapenos. Ooh, in Canada, carts are almost all rental in Canada, including Walmart. Tell you what, my Lowe's, it's Sam's Club. Sam's Club just got new carts that have one wheel that is like an AI wheel or something. It's a smart wheel, but it's not a motor. It doesn't help you push the cart or help you return it. You want to return itself to the rack or anything. It doesn't do any of those things. It just knows how far away from the store it is. And if it gets too far, it just locks up. It just seizes the gears so the wheel won't turn. And it's one of the important wheels. It's on the back where all the weight is. And it wasn't a question, all right, you need to go to bed. I was answering someone else's question. Hello. I do need to go to bed, but I stayed up late last night with the verdict. So like almost 10 o'clock at night. It was terrible. Trader Joe's is too expensive. The problem I have with Trader Joe's is I'm not familiar with any of the products they sell. Like the brands, the labeling, the marketing, the packaging. I can't find anything. 3D print a coin. The 3D printer is busy right now, actually. I think it's still, let me check and see if I can take a peek at what it's doing. Let's embiggen this. It's a bit of a mess, but I'll show you. The 3D printer is not printing right now. It was printing. It's printed all those pieces over there, which are on the floor, which have been trimmed by this little pliers thing. We're printing an enclosure for this so that we can control the temperature inside the print area a little better. So it's It'll be up and printing a little later today. As soon as I remind my son, he's got like 2 more prints, and then he can build the whole thing. So that'll be exciting. Okay, shrink that back down. Just be like me and have 7 printers at home, 2 on my desk at work. I can't do a print farm yet. I need more space. My house has very little storage. Like, I don't have room for my e-bike. It's currently in our kitchen. And Mrs. R.A. is not happy about that. They sell the organic word only. That's all. It's all the same vendors with different fancy label. Have enclosure, but it makes no difference for PLA. Really only necessary for other materials. The kids want to do other materials. So we're printing the enclosure out of PLA. We've had probably 5 parts fail on this. And then we realized it's because the printer is sitting right in the fan for the air conditioner. So it's literally being cooled at all times. And the bed would, the temperature change of the bed would cause the part to fall away. PLA is the gateway filament. It is. We've gone through like 5 rolls of black printing these parts. At my Lowe's, you cannot take a regular cart outside, only a flatbed cart. Well, that just won't do. I have to have a cart that I can put stuff in at Lowe's. And the flatbed carts, everything just falls off the side. I've had those shopping carts that lock up in our Asda for years. I'm tempted to see how they work. I mean, do they beep and set off an alarm, or does it just suddenly get really hard to push? Tammy Lee, welcome back. Hope you're feeling great. Lots of wandering around still in the courtroom here as everyone's talking to each other. And during the break, we have judge still off the bench. Witness chair is empty. Just focus on the window that has some activity there. I have a thing on my keys with a metal coin that fits in all trolley sizes. They stop and won't move. What if you're trying to return a cart that's out by the road? You have to like pick it up and lug it back, like on your back or something. Mama G, we do have a short break here in court. It's just going to be a brief one. Are you serious? Oh my goodness. Who sent this to me? Thomas? Thomas, is that? Did you guys watch? Trying to see if this is real. Hang on, let me see if we can verify this. Oh, what are you doing to the witness chair? See if we can. It looks to be real. Do you guys see the video? I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm second guessing this. It doesn't match up. It doesn't add up. Never mind. It's a fake news story, I think. It was about a roller coaster rescue where the person who was rescued was accusing the rescuer of inappropriately touching them as they rescued them from a stuck roller coaster. Apparently there's no support for it. All right, sorry, that was a tease. I probably shouldn't say it until we can verify. People who do that go on the internet and tell lies. There's a very small percentage of people who think it's appropriate to say whatever they think on the internet. It's despicable, totally despicable. The internet should be the bastion of truth. You know, the last recourse for all the arbiter of truth as well. Dobby, I don't know what that is. Is it Lego? I saw Runkle was talking about something Lego, but I haven't looked into it. Christy, the video that's circulating that seems to support that shows someone being rescued in a different position than the roller coaster was stuck in. Okay.
Name, Steve, can I know there, please?
All right, we ready to bring the jurors in?
I think we are, Judge.
We ready?
Yes, Sean.
Let's bring the jurors in.
All right. Let's bring them in.
Remember in the beginning when we started 110 years ago?
Okay, Judge, I'm not sure if you're eating something, spitting something out, or blowing your nose, or doing all three, but that was a little bit gross. My apology. Reseller of Legos. Oh, man. Lego reseller basically stole 200,000 of Legos. I like my Legos. We've done some Lego builds when we were on.
Ladies and gentlemen, when you get to your seat, you can have a seat. Everyone else can have a seat in the courtroom. The record reflects all the jurors are back in their place. So you may call your next witness.
Here goes Tony Finney.
Wait for the witness.
But sir, stand up here by the chair and the clerk's going to swear you in, okay?
Officer.
If you'll have a seat, speak into the microphone. Mr. Southern, you may inquire whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Introduce yourself to the jury.
I am Corporal Tony Finney with the Bay County Sheriff's Office.
Corporal Finney, how long have you been with the Bay County Sheriff's Office?
I've been at Bay County Sheriff's Office since 2015.
He's a tall
And were you employed in law enforcement prior to that?
I was.
Where?
He's got a low voice.
Prior to that, I was employed as a officer with the city of Panama City. I was there from 2009 to 2015.
Is that the extent of your law enforcement career?
No, sir, it is not.
What else have you done?
Well, at Panama City, I was patrol, and then I was a detective with the city of Panama City for 4.5 years before I left and came to the sheriff's office. Prior to that, I worked for the Department of Corrections as a correctional officer, and then I also worked reserves with the Blountstown Police Department. And prior to that, I started my career in Calhoun County in 2002 with the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office.
All in all, 24 years in law enforcement?
That's correct.
That is correct.
Now, what are your current duties? What do you do for the Bay County Sheriff's Office?
I am a patrol supervisor with the Sheriff's Office. Part of my duties and responsibilities is managing the deputies that I have under my supervision, making sure that they're abiding by policy, make sure that they're applying the laws of the state of Florida correctly, and also that they are not violating anyone's constitutional rights under the Bill of Rights. Some of my job is also to oversee some of their investigations to help them along. I do review reports, crash reports, approve those things, and make sure that the steps they're being in compliance with case law and the laws of the state.
Do you respond to scenes and calls for service sometimes?
That's correct, I do.
I'll take you to October of 2024. Did you respond to a call for service on October 12th, early morning hours, October 12th?
Yes, sir, I did.
Where was that call for service located?
I remember it was in the 5900 block of Charles Drive. It was around about 1 o'clock in the morning. I remember it was a little after midnight.
What part of town is?
That was an area that we call for the sheriff's office the Bayou George area. That's up there off at 231, about where the bridge, Bayou George Bridge is along 231. It's that area.
And were you wearing body cam that night?
That's correct, I was.
Your Honor, at this time, the statement we seek to publish what's been admitted in evidence in State's Exhibit 35.
You may publish State's Exhibit 35 whenever you're ready.
I'm not sure if he got shot. He says he can't move. I can't turn him over to look. I don't know.
How do you know you got shot?
I can't move. I heard the gun go off.
This part's quiet.
I can't move. I can't feel my body. I can only feel my. I don't know if anybody got shot. I don't understand. I literally can't move, sir.
I've got to roll you over.
Rolled him over.
Oh my God. We gotta get him.
Wow.
Well, Finney, when you first arrived on the scene, obviously you found this male lying in the yard.
That's correct.
Did you begin assessing, looking for any injuries?
Yes. In the moment that I got out of the car, as you can hear from the video, I could hear the male saying that he can't move, that he can't feel it. He can't feel his legs. He can't feel anything. Given from the information that was relayed, there was a possibility that there was a firearm that was used. So yes, I'm examining him, especially the vital areas. I want to know how serious these injuries are. Are they immediately life-threatening? Is there other steps that I'm going to have to take to save this young man's life?
And you originally didn't locate or didn't see anything upon first. I think you saw, you lift up his shirt and look at his chest area.
That's correct. With his complaint of not being able to move or feel anything from the chest down, I knew that the injury had to be somewhere in the torso area in order for that to have that effect.
Is that essentially why you rolled him over?
That is correct.
I'm going to try to stop it here.
I've got
Your flashlight kind of washes out. All right,
Yes.
so in that upper left-hand corner there, is that the bullet hole, the wound you located?
That is correct.
And then you notice that wound and you roll him back over.
Absolutely. Based on where the wound is, it's in an extremely sensitive area, and I didn't want to take any more chances of moving him and doing any other further internal injuries to him.
Now, it's a little difficult to see this particular scene, but where in his body was that wound located?
So this would have been in the upper left side.
Left side or right side?
Or the right side, just right of center. So you got your spine. It was just right of the center line from the spine in the upper back.
Now, did you notice anything unique about this bullet wound itself?
One, I noticed that it was the diameter of it indicated to me that it was a smaller caliber. The other thing that I noticed is that it was not actively bleeding. It was weeping a little bit, but then the tissue around it showed evidence of trauma because it was swollen.
Why did that stand out to you?
Well, one, in the video, you can't see this, but I did get a chance to see the hole that was in the back of his sweater. And in that hole, I noticed that there was some stippling around where the hole is. So that indicated to me that this was a close contact.
So let's talk about stippling. What is stippling?
So stippling is this. Firearms happen because there is an explosion that goes on within a casing that moves the projectile, the bullet, from the casing down the barrel and out the end of the gun. Well, that powder is super hot. It's like a firework. Most people growing up would light firecrackers and throw them at each other. Well, it produces heat. And the size of the stippling that comes from the burned powder that comes out the end of the barrel of the gun and onto the clothing. And a lot of times it will cause little burn marks in the fabric.
And that stippling is associated with the firearm being discharged in close proximity to whatever's shot or whatever the stippling that occurs.
Well, it gives you an idea of about how far away the firearm was whenever the bullet exited the muzzle.
And how far away does stippling appear?
To me, just at close glance, I figured it was anywhere from about 2 to 4 inches.
Now, after you roll him back over at the end of this video, obviously an ambulance arrives on scene and EMS takes over.
That's correct.
Do you, as the first investigator on scene, kind of begin to try to figure out what happened?
Absolutely.
And at some point, Nathan Alexander's identified as potentially being involved.
At the time, the only name that I knew was Nathan.
That was given to you by Mr. Long's girlfriend on scene?
Yes.
Okay. Now, there was some discussion about how you're going to try to identify this Nathan. At some point in time, did Mr. Long's girlfriend inform you that she had his phone's location on Life 360?
She did.
Did she actually show that to you?
Yes, she did.
And it showed an actual location of where Mr. Long's phone was?
That's correct, it did.
Was that information forwarded to other law enforcement?
I did. I then passed that information along to responding units that was looking in the area for the suspect vehicle.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Balak, any questions?
Just a few, Your Honor. Officer Finney, when you got to the scene, was the girlfriend truthful about what had been happening that night?
Initially, no, she was very reserved.
Okay, so she didn't initially say, hey, there was a drug deal and then a shooting?
No, that didn't come out until after Mr. Long got transported to the hospital.
Okay. So it wasn't until later that you learned that the victim was a drug dealer?
That's correct.
And at any point, did you know that the victim had a gun with him?
No, I did not.
No further questions, John.
Benny?
Morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Following up a little bit on Mr. Balak's question that he just asked, was there an indication to you of identifying the shooter?
Could you speak up, ma'am? I'm sorry, I'm sick and I have a head cold. I'm sorry.
Oh, absolutely. Was there an indication or did you learn of who was identified as the shooter initially?
Initially, it was this individual named Nathan.
And so you and law enforcement operated under the assumption that Nathan was the shooter because that's what you learned at the scene.
It's not under the assumption that he was the shooter. A lot of times people in a traumatic situation, it takes them a while to process. Nathan, to me, may have been the shooter or may not have been the shooter, but I know that Nathan was there.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
That makes sense. So you didn't know, but you knew that he was somehow involved.
That's correct.
And was Ms. Massengill give you any names, any of who the shooter was?
No, the only one that she had was Nathan.
And so when you, that picture there was not very clear, so I just want to follow up on the bullet wound. You said it was approximately, I'm trying to see if it's possible that you could show on my back where it would approximately be, but just if you describe it. So if we look at the person's back, Mr. Long's back, in relation to the spine, it was to the right of the spine?
It was just to the right of the spine, between the spine and the scapula.
And so, and you said, so, and since the spine was hit, since Mr. Long is clearly not able to use his lower body, it would have traveled from the right towards the spine. Is that correct?
Well, from the angle that I have, there is no way that I could tell in what path the trajectory of the bullet head went. Only thing that I can tell you is this, is that Mr. Long was shot in the back. That means his back was turned to whoever it was that shot him. And that the bullet entered just right at the center of the spine, which led to having some type of nerve damage. The trajectory of where the bullet hit inside the body, there's no way I would have known where that was.
Okay. So do you know if anybody else did any investigation on that?
I do not.
You do not know?
No.
And you didn't do any investigation?
No, ma'am. My job was to secure the scene, gather as much information of potential suspects or witnesses, and pass that along to responding deputies and investigators.
Did you take any photos when you got there of the wound or anything?
No, I did not.
And you were explaining to us that Mr. Long was wearing a shirt and you could see stippling on there?
Yes. So initially when you rolled him over, it's a dark shirt, but the body cams don't pick up everything. It gives you a limited view of what we as law enforcement officers are seeing. But whenever she rolled him over, because I needed to check the back of him, I knew there was no injuries to the front of him, so I needed to look at the back of him. When she rolled him over, the sweater is dark, absolutely, but my flashlight shines and I saw a small hole that was in the back of the sweater. That's the reason why I pulled the sweater all the way up, because I knew that the wound had to be further up on the back than where I was initially seeing. Basically what I'm saying is the hole in the garment gave me an indication of where the wound was on the body.
Do you know what happened to that sweater?
No, ma'am, I do not.
A moment.
Sir, I've got a question for you. Can you say the following words? I loaded 16 tons of number 9 coal, and the straw boss said, well, bless my soul. In your deepest voice, please.
That's all the questions I have.
Any redirect?
Just if you, Madam Clerk, might have the screens. Mr. Long went to the hospital with that sweater on.
At the time, I was more focused on talking with Miss Massengill than paying attention to what EMS was doing. Once they showed up, I turned everything over his care to them.
Now, you said that the body cam is a limited view of what you see. You don't get to see everything. It doesn't pick up everything that you see on scene.
No, exactly.
This, I guess, shot, still shots. This is a good example. So the upper left-hand corner, you can kind of see a hand pointing to a point on Mr. Long's back.
That's correct.
Is that hand pointing to the bullet hole?
Well, that's actually Miss Massengill's hand, and it's not pointing directly at the bullet hole. It's more kind of, if you're looking at the picture, it'd be down into the, just down below the fingertip. Looking at
my point is, though, on scene, you can see the injury.
That's correct.
But your flashlight's washing it out on the body.
That's correct.
Flashlights are obviously designed to aid your vision when it's dark.
Yes.
But the body cam, it shows a different perspective, different view than what you're actually seeing on scene.
That's correct.
This is an example of what you meant by that.
Yes.
No further questions.
Any other questions?
Not from here.
No, sir.
Can witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, you may go about your day.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. One excuse as well.
Time to sit calls Madison Adams.
Yeah, that guy has an amazing voice. And I'm sorry it's because you have a cold, but wow, that was the gravel in that voice was that's premium gravel there. You don't, that's not cheap. That's not crushed. That's not crushed. It's premium riverbed gravel.
You saw him swear or affirm that that's money trying to get to be the truth, the whole truth, that the truth party shot.
Not bark
You have a seat. Speaking to the microphone, Mr. Sullivan, may inquire whenever you're ready.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
Please introduce yourself to the jury.
I'm sorry.
Can you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Yes, I'm Madison Adams. I'm a deputy of the Bay County Sheriff's Office.
Deputy Adams, how long have you been with Bay County?
Since July of 2020.
What do you do right now? What is your job role?
So I'm currently a crime prevention officer on the east end of the beach. So essentially, I work for the Field Services Division.
What does that mean?
Just basically a road deputy.
Somebody calls for service or needs help, you're the one that responds.
That's correct.
Were you involved in this shooting investigation in October of 2024?
Yes, I was.
What was your role? What did you do?
I assisted whenever the call came out. There was supposed to be a vehicle associated with the incident, and ended up locating the vehicle at 409 School Avenue, lot B17.
Now, the location that you got, is that because there was some information gained by law enforcement about Life 360 and the victim's phone?
That's correct.
So you kind of responded to where that Life 360 showed the phone location to be?
Correct.
There was that School Avenue location?
Yes.
Did you locate a suspect vehicle that had been described as a silver four-door sedan?
Yes, I did.
And it was at that location?
Yes, sir.
Did you look through the windows at what was inside that silver sedan?
I did. So the Live 360 was, I guess, pinging in that area. And so once we located the vehicle, I looked inside of the windows and I was able to locate the phone that was described. And there was a phone call made to it, and it confirmed that phone to be
one of the victims.
What do you say? Was a phone call made to it? Law enforcement officers called the victim's number?
Correct. So we timed it to where as soon as the call was coming in the phone, I was able to see it ring. I'm just further confirming the location.
Now, eventually, there was a search warrant that was gotten for that School Avenue residence.
Yes, that's correct.
Were you present when that search warrant was executed?
I was.
Was there quite a few people that came out of that house?
Yes, there was.
You stand by and assist with, watching over individuals as they were brought out?
I did.
The suspects in this case, did you see them brought out?
I did.
Was there anything that occurred with one of the suspects that stood out to you that you observed happen?
Yes. So I was standing by. There was several people around, and one of the females that was present outside, she was brought over by one of the investigators to answer some questions for them.
So hold on, I want to stop. So everybody's brought out of the house kind of all at once?
Yes.
And the investigators, did they kind of speak to individuals individually?
Correct.
So they grab somebody, take them off to the side, get their story?
Yes.
Go grab somebody else and do the same thing?
Yes.
And is that that's what happened with this female?
Yes.
It was her turn to talk to law enforcement?
That's correct.
And when she was grabbed to speak with law enforcement, what did you observe?
One of the males that was in the vicinity where I was standing mouthed to another individual and said, "She's going to snitch."
What?
Is that essentially your involvement in this case?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Ballard?
Just to confirm, the phone that was allegedly stolen wasn't on any of the defendant's possession or person, right? It was found in the back seat?
It was in the back seat, passenger side of the vehicle.
Okay. And I see that you're reading from a report. Can you explain what that is?
It's just the report I wrote.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Bennett?
She likes to walk all the way across the courtroom before asking the questions. Helps the jury hear the question and makes the witness have to speak loudly so the jury can hear the answer.
Morning.
Good morning.
The phone that was found, or that you saw, and I may have missed it. I'm sorry if you already answered this. Where exactly was that located?
It was in the silver sedan. It was on the rear passenger floorboard is where it was located.
So where the rear passenger's feet go normally?
Correct.
And was it upside down or right side up?
I can't recall. I believe it was, the screen was facing up, I believe, to the best of my recollection.
Do you know what happened to that phone?
I do not. The search warrant and everything was handled by investigators.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any redirect?
Oh, yeah.
Can the officer be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No.
And you may go about your day.
Thank you, sir.
Someone, you call your next witness.
Your Honor, I want to state those Caitlin, Aaron.
Yes, sir, please. Please come on up here, stand by that chair, and the clerk's going to swear you in, okay?
You solemnly swear or affirm that you will not be true, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. I do. Thank you.
You may have a seat, speak into the microphone. Mr. Sullivan, you may inquire whenever you're ready.
Morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Please introduce yourself to the jury.
I'm Kaylin Aaron.
Ms. Aaron, you were previously employed with the Bay County Sheriff's Office, correct?
Yes, sir.
When did you leave the Bay County Sheriff's Office?
May of 2026.
So just a week or two ago?
Yeah.
Why'd you leave? What are you doing now?
I went and pursued my master's degree in forensic science so that I can transition from active field work into the academia side of teaching and training.
So let's talk about what you did with Sheriff's Office and what you are working towards training.
Okay.
Or teaching. So what did you do for the Sheriff's Office?
I was a crime scene investigator.
And as a crime scene investigator, what do you do?
So we were responsible for responding to crime scenes, basically documenting the scenes, collecting evidence, processing for evidence if needed. We also would take the evidence back to the office and photograph, process it further if needed, or we would prepare it to be sent to the state lab for processing.
How long were you a crime scene investigator before leaving the Sheriff's Office?
5 years.
Were you the crime scene investigator that responded to this shooting in October 2024?
Yes, sir.
I want to talk, did you go to one location or to multiple locations?
I went to multiple locations.
Where all did you respond to?
I went to the scene of the shooting on Charles Drive. I also went to Bay Medical Center where the victim was transported. And then I also went to School Avenue where a search warrant was going to be executed.
Did you take pictures at each of those locations?
Yes, sir.
As a crime scene investigator, if other investigators found items of evidence, would they point it out to you?
Yes, sir.
Would they, if they collected other evidence, would they kind of give it to you and you would collect it all together?
Yes, sir.
And your responsibility to make sure everything gets stored and turned into evidence properly?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to publish the other exhibits that I've got and evidence. Get on the screens.
State's exhibit, whatever hasn't been published will be published at this time. You're allowed to publish it.
Ms. Aaron, State's Exhibit 1, what are we looking at here?
This is the victim in the emergency room operating floor at Bay Medical.
Now, this photograph doesn't show any wounds, does it?
No, sir.
Typically, as a crime scene investigator, you would want to take pictures of the victim's wounds.
Yes, sir.
You didn't do that in this case.
I did not.
Why not?
So when I arrived at the hospital, I was advised that they were already preparing to wheel him up to surgery. So generally, as a crime scene investigator, we want to try to get photos before injuries or anyone goes to the operating room. However, that is up to a doctor's discretion. They were willing to at least let me go up to the operating room floor, which we generally are not even allowed to go that far. We try to catch them in the emergency room itself, but they were willing to let me go up there and snap a few pictures right before they actually wheeled him in. So this was while they were preparing him to actually get rolled into surgery. I was just working around the doctor, so I could only snap a few quick photos.
So you weren't able to roll him over and take pictures of them?
No, sir.
Now, Coach Sean, did you wait on scene for the bullet projectile to be collected?
I waited for several hours. The nurses had placed me into an empty patient room where I could wait. However, several hours had passed and they did not have an ETA of when the surgery would be concluded so that I could get the projectile. So I actually ended up being told to clear from the hospital and that once it was recovered and security had it, that somebody else could go pick it up from the hospital.
And was there another investigator that went and retrieved it?
To my knowledge, later on that morning, once they were called, I believe Deputy Conley went and picked it up.
And after it was collected, was it turned into you as the evidence custodian?
Yes, he brought it to me at the sheriff's office.
Showing you what's been admitted into evidence as State's Exhibit 30. Is this the projectile?
Yes, sir.
This projectile is a .22 caliber projectile.
I am not sure. I would assume so, but however, we did not open it.
You don't have personal knowledge, that's fine.
Yeah, we didn't open the package.
So after you left the hospital, where did you go next?
I then went to School Avenue where the other investigators had already secured a house for a search warrant to be conducted.
State's Exhibit 2, is this that house at School Avenue?
Yes.
What are we looking at in this particular photograph?
This is the north end of the trailer to the left where you see that white sink and cabinet. That is one of the bathrooms. And then the bedroom at the end of the hall, I was told is where one of the suspects, that was his room.
The suspect particularly, was that Nathan Alexander or Dexter Owens?
I believe it was Dexter Owens.
State's Exhibit 3. My first question, so looking at State's Exhibit 2, you got the bathroom to the left. Is this that same bathroom?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is the note in this particular photograph?
Investigators had told me that there was possibly some kind of cleanup. I'm not sure what was being cleaned up, but they had pointed out before I got there that they had observed some bleach in the bathroom, this open bottle.
and it was still open, exactly how I found it when I was taking my photos.
And looking kind of, it's in the shadows of the top left corner of this photograph. Is there a bathtub that kind of spans across the back of that bathroom?
Yes, sir.
States Exhibit 4, is this that same bottle of bleach?
Yes, sir.
Now, States Exhibit 5, this is what was represented here as Mr. Owens' bedroom?
Yes, sir.
Same one that was in that previous photo?
Yes, sir.
Where are you standing in relation to the bedroom and that bathroom for this photograph?
So this is right outside of the bathroom, right inside the doorway of the bedroom.
Right into the entryway?
Yes.
And then States Exhibit 6, where's this part of the bedroom?
So this is still standing right inside the doorway to the bedroom. However, this is just turned slightly to the left to capture that wall. So it's standing there, the last picture was me getting half of the room and then me turning to face the rest of the room just to capture.
You got the closet kind of at the front of you.
Yes.
Now this wall that's on the left side of the screen's got some brown paper or something on it. Is that the wall between the bedroom and the bathroom?
Yes, sir.
States Exhibit 7, is this that same closet?
Yes, sir.
That we just saw in the previous photograph?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is of note in this closet?
So when we were searching this closet, we noticed that behind this backpack, up against the wall leading to the bathroom, there is a hole in the wall that was exposed. So we ended up moving some of that stuff away and could observe the pipes.
Is that?
Yes, sir. That.
States Exhibit 8?
Yes, sir.
So the hole in the closet between the bedroom closet and the bathroom?
Yes, sir. So we were able to see that this was missing a section of wall, so we could actually see under. So we actually got down and started looking under in that little cubby.
Did you find anything underneath?
Yes, sir. There were 2 firearms.
Those are the 2 firearms?
Yes, sir.
And that's how they were found?
Yes, sir.
They were collected?
Yes, sir.
There's the tan Glock, the extended magazine.
So you've admitted evidence already as States Exhibit 32. Is this the tan firearm and magazine that's depicted in that photograph?
Yes, sir.
You found it, did you take it out and take photographs?
Yes, sir. I removed the firearms from the cubby and moved them to the bed so that I could just get better photos of them. And the investigators wanted their serial numbers so that they could have them ran. So we went ahead and just laid them out and grabbed photos of how they were found.
That's the magazine?
Yes, sir.
What are we looking at in this photograph? States Exhibit 13?
So one of the investigators that was on scene, Sergeant Brent Roberts, he was searching this orange backpack that was located in the bedroom. And as he located any items that he believed were of interest, he asked me to photograph them. So this depicts him searching those and me documenting what was in the backpack.
Particularly this green can?
Yes, sir.
Is this what was found in that green can?
Yes, sir.
Ooh, a little bit of bud.
What are you photographing?
So this is suspected marijuana.
Identification card found in that bedroom?
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of where in this bedroom?
I am not.
And that identification belongs to Dexter Owens?
Yes, sir.
It's Exhibit 17.
Okay, so also aside from the search warrant of the residence, there were 2 vehicles on scene that they had wrote search warrants for. So this is a photo from one of the search warrants of the vehicle.
Now, law enforcement found this residence because of the tracking of the phone. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is this the phone that they tracked and that's how they identified the?
This is what the phone that I was told belonged to the victim that they had been tracking.
May I approach, Your Honor?
May I approach?
Was this phone collected?
Yes, sir.
Admitted evidence as States Exhibit 29. Is that the phone in that photograph?
Yes, sir.
After School Avenue, did you go to the scene of the shooting?
So I went back to the sheriff's office for a brief period of time and then got with the investigator, and we did return back to Charles Avenue or Charles Drive for another search of the possible casing.
Now, we'll talk about that in a second. The victim's pants, they were cut off by EMS on scene?
I believe so.
They were ultimately collected?
Yes, sir.
And in his pants, did you find his wallet?
I did. I did not find them when I originally collected them on scene, as they were simply packaged. However, when I returned to the sheriff's office and started processing them for photographs and to make sure if they did have any blood that we dried it properly before packaging, I did locate his wallet in a pants pocket.
Is that this photograph?
Yes, sir.
Is it 18?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you find a wallet like this, how do you typically process?
So it depends on if there's contents. We always take photos of every, at least the openings of where we can see items. If there's not really items, we may not do it. But however, in this one, since there are cards here, we did photograph that, or I photographed that.
And then do you take those items out and photograph them?
Yes, then we photograph each item individually as well to show the contents.
So this wallet was found in Mr. Wong's pants.
Yes, sir.
And inside it, he had his ID?
Yes, sir.
Showing the billfold part?
Yes, sir.
The kind of inner pocket?
Yes, sir. We search every pocket and fold that's in the wallets.
You got $3 in his
dollar
bill?
Yes,
bill.
Now, at some point in time, Nathan Alexander was contacted by law enforcement, placed under arrest. Was his wallet also collected?
His wallet was. I believe it was provided to me by Sergeant Roberts.
Is that the wallet in this photo?
Yes, sir.
Did you do the same thing with Mr. Alexander's wallet?
I did.
This is what you found in Mr. Alexander's wallet?
Yes, sir.
That as well?
Yes, sir.
What are we looking at here in photograph 26?
So this is a Glock 22 long rifle. This gun was provided to me by Sergeant McGowan.
Are you aware of where this firearm came from?
I was only told that it was obtained when they were trying to secure the scene and secure defendants and suspects.
You took a picture of the firearm to document it?
Yes, sir, exactly. As he gave it to me, I photographed it before any.
The magazine that was with it?
Yes, sir.
That is the magazine with all of the bullets that were in it?
Yes, sir.
9 bullets there.
Now, you mentioned you went to the Charles Street address to search for a shell casing.
Yes, sir.
Did you ever find a shell casing?
We did not. We had searched, me and patrol deputies and investigators were on scene originally when I was first there. Early that morning, it was dark. However, we did visually search the driveway and area around that. However, we did not know exactly where the shooting had occurred. So afterwards, once it was daylight and we could see better, we ended up going back up there and doing another search. We were told the shooting possibly happened in the driveway. However, I ran the metal detector over the entire driveway and about 10 to 15 feet on both sides of the driveway, well past where it possibly could have went. However, we were trying to exhaust all efforts to actually find a cartridge case.
Never found a cartridge case?
No, sir.
I want to talk about a little bit why that would be important. So as a crime scene investigator, and you've got a shooting, why would you want to find the shell casing?
So we can use those shell casings. We can send those off to FDLE and they can be entered into NIBIN, which can pretty much link a lot of other shootings. So if a similar casing is found at another scene, it can link to that shooting. In this case, we could have used that spent casing and then test fired the firearms that we recovered from the search warrants. We could have test fired those guns and had every casing from the test fires compared to the casing from the scene, and it would be able to tell us, yes, this firearm fired that. There are unique markings that a firearm leaves on a gun that can be linked to a specific firearm. So we could have been like, okay, this gun caused this cartridge case.
So in a case like this, where you have a firearm that you believe to be the gun that was used in the shooting, you could, if you would have found the shell casing, you could have tested it to see if it was fired from that particular gun.
Yes.
In this case, you never found the shell casing?
We did not.
So you were only able to do that analysis?
Yes, we could not do that comparison. We still test fired all the firearms and sent them to FDLE for NIBIN entry. However, we did not have any for actual direct comparison to any evidence from the scene.
Now, you obviously photographed this 22 firearm that was also admitted in or collected, admitted in evidence?
Yes, sir.
Can I approach on?
May approach.
again. It's good at 32. Then it's good at 31. Okay. 6 good at 31. That's this 22 firearm.
Yes, sir.
Now on both of those firearms, did you attempt to take fingerprints or develop fingerprints on either one of those firearms?
Yes, sir.
Did you do it on one or both of them?
Both of them.
And what did you find?
There were no latents of value. There was no ridge detail present when they were processed.
So that means you tried to see if there were fingerprints, but there was just nothing there.
Yes, sir.
Now, what about DNA? Did you take DNA swabs of these firearms?
Yes, sir. I swabbed them for DNA prior or before processing for fingerprints.
And what did you do with those DNA swabs?
So those were held at the sheriff's office in evidence. FDLE requires there to be elimination standards from defendant suspects that they can compare to, and those DNA standards, to my knowledge, were never collected.
The approach. Is this one of those swabs?
Yes, sir.
So you took the swabs that are in evidence, but you could not forward them to FDLE?
Yes, sir.
Is that the extent of your involvement in this case?
Yes, sir.
I've got no further question, but if I may remove those firearms.
Yes, you may.
Now on to defense.
Aaron, my name is Jim Ballack. I'm actually some questions. Did you ever get to search any of the cell phones?
I do not.
And as far as who lives at that trailer, did you know who lives there?
I was not told that, no, sir.
I see that you took pictures of bleach. Is there any evidence to show that that was used?
No, sir. I simply photographed the bottle.
Okay. And did you find any bleach on the guns?
We did not test for bleach.
Okay. So there's no way to know whether or not the bleach was used.
Yes, sir. It was just our open bottle that was there, so we don't know if it was actually used for anything.
And then you said that the gun was in the closet?
2 of the guns were in the closet.
And that was where the cubbyhole was?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's in, I guess, like a master bedroom in the back?
That was in the north bedroom where a defendant that was supposedly his bedroom. It was in his closet.
I noticed that one of the guns is tan and one of the guns is black. And then one of them has an extended magazine and the other one doesn't. Would you agree with me that one of the guns is much larger than the other?
They are of different calibers, I believe.
Okay.
And just different magazines.
Okay. But the magazine, the tan gun with the magazine is bigger in size with the extended mag on it than it is.
Yes, sir. It had a bigger round count magazine.
And you're aware that that one was the victim's?
I was not told whose gun that was.
It's bigger than you. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than all of us.
It's big.
It's big.
Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning.
I'm ready for lunch.
So I'll work my way backwards. Mr. Ballard just asked you about cell phones. Do you know how many cell phones were collected?
I would have to look at the evidence list.
Okay. But it was more than one?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know if those were anything ever processed in any way?
I am not sure. That is not something that I would be responsible for handling.
Okay. And talking about the bleach, do you know if the bleach bottle was collected to maybe process for fingerprints or DNA or anything?
It was not. It was just photographically documented.
And you said you were initially sent to the hospital to pick up the projectile.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you also ask for Mr. Long's clothing?
So the only clothing that I was aware of him having was what was at the scene, and it was his pants and shoes that were actually left at the address on Charles Drive. Other than that, I was not provided any other additional clothing.
So nobody instructed you to also get the clothing he was wearing while he was transported to the hospital?
No, sir, because no, ma'am, to my knowledge, everything was taken off at the scene.
And you took the pictures in the hospital that initially, and that was before surgery, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you go back and meet with Mr. Long at any time to take pictures of his wounds at a later point when he was not facing surgery?
No, ma'am, I was not asked to.
And the DNA that was collected, you had told Mr. Sullivan about, you said you were missing the DNA standards for comparison.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that you that who would normally collect them from the defendants, or who would do that?
So it really just depends on their status. Generally, we get court orders, and if they are still incarcerated at the jail, someone like the case agent, the investigator would go up there and do it. However, if they are not incarcerated, we can schedule meetings for them to come to the sheriff's office, and we can physically collect it, or an investigator can collect it. But no investigator ever done that.
So to ask for the court order and to get the comparison standards is something that the state does, law enforcement does.
The state or the sworn CID investigators, yes, ma'am.
And let's see. When you went back to the scene to Child's Drive, and you said you did not know where the shooting had occurred?
No, ma'am. By this point, I had only been told different accounts from investigators, and there was word that the shooting may have happened in a vehicle that had backed into the driveway. Then I was told the shooting could have happened when the victim was outside of the vehicle. So that is why I took it upon myself just to search the entire driveway and the yard for any cartridge case, because the events were so unclear to me at the time.
Did you take any pictures of any maybe tire marks, tire tracks, anything like that?
There were photographs from when I responded to that scene originally, but due to it being a dark gravel road, there was actually no like definitive tire tracks.
Do you know if anybody ever went back to try to find out where exactly the vehicle was located?
I do not.
And the DNA, oh, never mind, we have that already. You said, Mr. Sullivan showed you a picture of what you call suspected marijuana. Has it ever been tested of what kind of substance it actually was?
So FDLE has a requirement to where their prepackaged weight has to be over 20 grams for them to even accept marijuana. And if I remember correctly, none of the exhibits of marijuana collected had a prepackaged weight of over 20 grams, so it was never sent off.
So it is suspected, but it has never been confirmed.
Yes, ma'am.
What it actually was.
Yes, ma'am.
The vehicle that you searched, did you search both the Lexus and the gray silver sedan, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And was that done at the scene at where everybody was arrested?
It was done at the School Avenue address.
Was the suspected, the crime scene really, the gray vehicle that was suspected that the shooting could have happened in it, was it ever transported to your facility to be researched there or to be taken apart or do what?
No, ma'am.
So after the initial search at the scene at School Avenue, those were released?
Yes, ma'am.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Those last questions about the vehicle. Are you familiar with vehicle or, like crime scene reconstruction?
I know of it. Yes, sir.
Okay. In a case like this, why didn't you do a reconstruction of the shooting?
So the biggest reason why I did not perform a reconstruction is because I am not certified to do so. While I have a crime scene certification, it is not up to the level of performing a reconstruction. That is generally experts that would focus specifically in a shooting reconstruction. It would not be a general crime scene investigator. Also at this scene, there was really no points that you could use. I have practiced basic reconstructions and trainings. However, there were no bullet defects in the vehicle or at the scene that we could even begin to perform or document a scene for an expert to perform a reconstruction. And also with the victim being transported to the hospital, we didn't know exactly where the event had taken place.
So you know that there was a man in this vehicle that was shot?
Yes, sir.
You know, generally he was in the back passenger seat based off his statement.
Yes, sir.
And you know, generally that he, based off his statement, that his back was towards the front, the driver and passenger in the front.
That is what I heard, yes, sir.
You don't know exactly what angle his body was at? Are angles important in crime scene reconstruction?
No, sir. There are so many different variables of how each person would have moved, whether he was partially in the vehicle, all the way in the vehicle, getting out of the vehicle. There's a lot of unknown factors that we would not know.
Especially based off of how the shooting occurred, impossible to do some type of reconstruction?
In my professional ability, yes.
No further questions, John.
Well, any questions?
No.
Ms. Bennett, any questions?
Does the sheriff's office, are you able to ask FDLE experts for help if you need them for a case?
Yes, ma'am.
So in this particular case, you could have asked if, you know, there was an indication that there were any open questions, if an FDLE trajectory or crime scene experts could come down, they would have been made available?
Yes, ma'am, they could.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Witness be excused.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No, sir.
Ma'am, you may go about your day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the appropriate time to take our lunch break. I have this 5 to 12. We're going to take a break to 1:30. I'm going to ask that you leave your notepads in the courtroom. Do not discuss the case among yourselves or to anyone else. Don't check any media sources or use your electronic devices to find out any more about the case you know right now. If you see anybody that you've seen in the courtroom, do your best to avoid them. I've advised them of the same thing. If everyone will remain in the courtroom till the jurors have if you'll come back to the courthouse, let the bailiff know at the front door you're on the jury, go to the circuit judge's reception area, stay there, and all of you stay there until you're escorted to this courtroom by the Bay County Sheriff's Office. You can leave the courtroom at this time. Follow the bailiff.
All right, as the jury files out here, see if we can get a count really quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8. I'm not sure.
All right, everyone can have a seat if you just wait a moment until the bailiff excusing. Anything we need to take up prior to taking our lunch break?
Not from the state, Your Honor.
Ballot, Ms. Bennett?
No, sir.
All right, we'll take our break at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We'll start back at 1.
All right, so they're done. They just kill it. That was quick. So that means I have to. I mean, you can't see this very well, but I've had like multiple monitors. I've got the feed we get from court looks like this. Oh, well, like this. That's it. It's like that the whole time. I'm trying to make it a little more interesting by zooming in and showing, you know, on the screen. It's not the best picture, but it's what the court's giving us. So I have to reset that up for the next live stream. But that's all good. We've got a portal set up already for the afternoon, which I need to set to say, I think we're going to start at 2:15. The judge said we're going to start. He said it's 1 right now, so he said we're going to start at what time? 2:30 Eastern. Hour and a half lunch break. That's a long break. I'll take it. So we'll come back at 2:15. All right. Go back here. Are they incarcerated currently? Yes, they are. How is it almost 12 in Florida? It's 1 in Florida. Trying to decide whether to tough it out or nap it out. Laura, take a nap. It's well worth it. Just turn the volume up so you'll hear it blast out when we start live again. 4 women, 3 men in the jury, 1 alternate. Total of what? Doesn't add up. I think we need 8, don't we? We need 6 or 8. Depends. Florida is 1. Florida has 2 time zones. Yes, we're in the panhandle part at the top, so we do have a different time zone. I've got a new video to watch from Luke McFadden, but tell you what, hang on 1 second. Let me see if I can get this for you. Before you go, I can see if I can get you guys to do a quick little test. Hang on. Pause. a friend of ours, and by ours I'm talking about all of us, is making some relaxation music, and it's very different. It's called dark relaxation music, and I listened and I liked it, and I'm just posting it right here, just a link to the channel really quickly. Nocturne Ambience is, they've got these tropical night ambience, ocean waves, waterfall, rainy horse carriage ride through the forest. This is just sound effects to have in the background to relax. Steam train through a thunderstorm, dark sailboat storm ambience. Just some really, really cool ambient audio. This is a friend, a very, very close person to Thomas, to Weatherwatch. And I said, "Is it okay if I share this?" And he said, "He thinks that's great." So give it a listen. If you like it, subscribe. It might be great to go to sleep to. I think a dark carriage ride through the woods would be perfect for some of us to listen to at night, knowing what we watch during the daytime. So awesome. Appreciate that. And now we're going to go to lunch. And we'll be back this afternoon with more from Judge Clark's courtroom. The 14th Circuit down there in Florida. Cabin in the woods, yeah. It sounds perfect. I know. I'm like, why has nobody done this before? We do have a portal this afternoon. We'll take you over to the afternoon session. So go ahead and just grab a portal buddy. We'll pop over on the other side. It's all going to be good. Tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love, smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better, and please stay safe till we go live again. 2:15 Eastern Time. We got an hour and 15 lunch. So grab a bite to eat, take a little nap, maybe listen to some ambient music, and enjoy. So we'll see you guys on the other side. Bye-bye. See you guys in a bit. Bye.
It's bigger than you. It's bigger than me.